late, fashionably late, and I still need to get one more thing. How is everyone? I see Nicole's here. Hi, Nicole. Oh, and I have no battery on this. It's one of those mornings, y'all. Bear with me for a few minutes. We'll let this feed into the algorithms, and I'll get a charger. Because I want to be able to see if I can see the new commenter stuff here. Let's see. Woo-hoo-hoo. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Drop me a note in the chat. How are you feeling today? We had a Capricorn full moon recently. Ooh, how's everybody feeling? Maybe just one word that describes how you feel. I'm late. How are you? All right, let me get into the live here. Hello, what in the world? It's one of those mornings, y'all. It's one of those mornings. Okay. All right, we got it. We're going. We're going. Now, I don't know, Jason, you're going to have to show me. I do not know where I can see the scoreboard thing. There's supposed to be now in YouTube on lives a scoreboard kind of thing where you can see like your top commenters and everything like that. I don't know if I have to be in the studio to look at that. I don't know where I have to be, but I cannot see it. I do not know. And to be honest, y'all, I was running late this morning. It has just been one of those days where I wake up and I've got like 7 messages on my phone. Everyone in the house needs something. I got to take care of all this. And that is the Cancerian life, y'all. That is the Cancerian life. Do I have any other Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, North nodes out there? Do you have any Cancer placements? We're going to pull some cards today for those people who are joining. This is collective, not personal, but collective Oracle and Tarot readings by me, Stephanie, at Creators on the Crest. And if you're just now finding me, consider subscribing. We would love to have you join the Creators community. I'd love to have you comment how you're feeling today. How are you feeling? We're just kind of doing introductions. We're getting settled. We're allowing YouTube to push us out into those beautiful algorithms today. So I want to hear from you. Just viewing the video, it's going to be on the right side. I'm guessing I have to view it, though, in my same profile that I'm in right now doing the live, I guess. Is that right? Because I'm going to try it. We'll see. Can I even do that? Can I pull it up in 2 places? I don't know. On the same account. Whew, I swear. Well, that's just not what I'm looking for. Hello. Let's try it over here. Okay. No. No, I still don't see I still don't see the scoreboard for comments. Even in, am I supposed to be in studio? I'm so confused. You're gonna have to maybe help me with that. So now I'm logged in on the iPad to see if I can see. All I can see is the regular live comments. I don't see any scoreboard or anything like that. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But now that's freezing because it doesn't want to be on when I'm on. So hang on. This is going to be one of those messy mornings where I am getting going slowly. It happens. It's real. It's just part of being a creator, a content creator, right? All right, Blaze is not here right now. Blazer the Morky usually makes an appearance, but he is not here at the moment. Just a quick note that for y'all on the bottom right, you should be able, or below, if you're looking on a mobile, you should be able to drop messages in the live chat. You should be able to drop messages. And then over to the side, there's a little heart emoji. And if you press on that, you can do like the heart, the smiley, the 100s. There's different emojis you can put, and that helps me know that you're here too. So if you don't want to put a comment, but you just want to flash some emojis there to let me know that you're resonating or you're doing good, that is also very helpful. But if you're here and you'd like to say hi and let me know how you're doing today, I would love to hear that down in the comments, please. All right. Okay, let me get a timestamp here. Okay, so why don't we light a stress relief candle? What I've got left of my stress relief candle here, we'll get that going because that helps. I know part of the theme for today is feeling burnt out, so we're getting our candle lit here with some intention, with some nice relaxing lavender scent to help. And then we're gonna light a little Palo Santo here. Do you all use Palo Santo? It is such a beautiful smell. And it's just like a little piece of wood, right? It's just like a little piece of wood, and you just kind of get the end going here, and it puts out a little bit of cleansing, clearing smoke, and it's just really nice. There we go. So a little bit of Palo Santo, and you can kind of clear your space with it. What do you guys use? I have, I like Palo Santo and I like sweetgrass. Those are two of my favorite. Copal is also very nice to clear with. So let me know, what do you use? And for crystals today, I have my Moldavite on. Let me know what crystals you might be carrying or wearing today. We're just gonna kind of relax in here, and you know, the title of this live is Feeling Burnt Out. How do we reconnect to our soul tree? And so today we're doing collective live oracle and tarot readings. We're going to start off with an overall oracle reading here in a minute, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about feeling the burnout while you're trying to live your purpose. So if you happen to be listening out there and you're an entrepreneur or you are a content creator, I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear, how does it go for you? Do you feel the ups and the downs? I mean, a lot of times what we see online is all the good stuff, but then there's a lot of struggle and there's a lot of challenges behind the scenes that people have to get used to as part of the process of creating your own income and being an entrepreneur. And in the realm of spiritual entrepreneurship, where we're working with spiritual healing, we're working with emotional healing, we're working with esoterics, alchemy, the deeper wisdom, that can be hard because you're applying it to yourself first and foremost as you learn about these things. So personally, lately, man, even in the past couple months have been pretty rough for me. I have even gone into a few small bouts of what I would call depression, and just feeling kind of stale and disconnected at times from my mission and my purpose. There's so much information constantly coming at me and at everyone, right? So this could apply to you too. You've got so much coming at you that it's hard to know what thread to pull on that's really going to make the difference for what you do and your work and what you're trying to create. Maybe some of you are trying to leave jobs where you are not happy and you want to change that up a bit, and you just don't know what thread to pull for yourself. And so, I think it's about staying present with ourselves through the challenges. So, do I like feeling depressed? Absolutely not. I do not like feeling depressed. I want every day to be a high energy day, but the truth is they're not. There are some days where it is hard to even, jump out of bed in the morning and really get moving. And I'm not a morning person anyway. And so it takes me a little bit of adjustment time to really get with the program of the day, whatever that might be. And then with all the different information coming in and everyone else around you who needs something, it can be really challenging to get that time for yourself. And a lot of times it requires you setting some boundaries because people around you who you love and want to be a part of their life and want to spend time with them and focused on what they're interested in as well, also have to understand that you are a person who needs your individual time. And that's really something I struggle with. I struggle with communicating that in a way during the times where it's not so crucial that I get my own space. Cancerians are definitely known, we're in Cancer season, for being people who need their own space. Are you able to show me if I'm missing something on the scoreboard here? Sorry, Jason walked in.
I can't see it on mobile. It has to be on desktop only.
Oh, can you bring me my computer over there when you get a chance?
I was going to say that on the chat, but I didn't know.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm trying to see the commenter scoreboard. Ashley's here. Hello, Ashley. Hi, Miriam. All right. And Nicole responded. Okay, here's my laptop. I guess I can put this down.
Yeah, right now it's desktop only, unfortunately.
And do I have to be in my studio or?
No, just on watch it like you normally would on your channel.
Like I normally would.
I mean,
Oh, I'm not normal.
Well,
oh, okay. I know what you mean. I got it.
I can show you if you have any trouble.
It's always something, y'all.
I'll get out of your hair, sorry.
Hi, Blaze. Blaze, you want to come say hi real quick to everybody? Oh, look, it's the baby boy. Hey, there he is. He just went on a walk, so he's huffing and a puffing. He's huffing and a puffing. This is Blazer the Morkie. He's the little baby. You can say hi to the peoples. Where's the peoples? He's tired. There he is. You need a bath. Oh. Well, there he is. He doesn't like that because that's too hot for him. I guess he wants to stay cool. All right. Thank you for your appearance. You can come back anytime. He's looking at me. Okay. So let me see if I can pull this scoreboard up here. View your channel. It's because it would be really cool because I want to see like who's commenting. I can see, but sometimes, as I get to talking and people are commenting, I lose track. Let me turn the volume down here. Desktop. Okay. Huh. I still don't see it. I don't know what's going on. I might have to just hand my laptop over to Jason and let him try to figure it out. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, but I would like to see it. Apparently on lives now, there's a scoreboard where you can see people that are commenting, and it kind of gives you something else to look at so you don't miss anybody. Nicole says, I'm new to it, but it's definitely work, even if you don't go The set it and forget it non-edited. Yeah. So when you're content creating, even if you don't do a lot of editing, yeah, see if you, no, I don't. Can you see if you can find it? I don't see it. Even if you don't do a lot of editing, it still takes time. You're recording, you're uploading, you're, getting in the right space to even have the conversation. And this has been like, today has been like a bit of a messy start, right? But sometimes you have to let things be messy. Sometimes they're not always perfect.
It's because you're okay. You're on Mac. It's different.
Ah, Mac is always different.
click
Anybody
right
else
here.
use Apple Mac stuff,
Your
iOS?
stuff's a little bit different because look, if you scroll down, you can go to top fans.
I know, but there's nothing there.
Interesting.
I scrolled down and like there's nothing in there. It
'Cause
doesn't, and people have commented. That's what's weird.
Well, what? It looks really different on PC.
We're gonna have to try to figure this out after the fact, I guess.
This is top chat right here, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Normally, the way it looks here, I'll show you. Let me show you how it looks online real quick.
Okay, right now the person with the top chat was doing inappropriate chats. So I need some more positive chats from you all, please. Moderators apparently don't count either. You guys don't count. So if anyone else is on and they'd like to drop a comment, how are you feeling today? How was the Capricorn full moon for you? Have you experienced feeling burnout? Are you a content creator? I would like to know in the chat. I would like to know in the live chat. But yeah, we're going to try to figure out how I can see the whole dashboard and everything. But yeah, I was talking about just figuring out that, there's got to be a balance somewhere in all of this. And, you've got your content creation, you got all the time it takes you. And then you've got all the analytics to understand. And, for sensitive people, this can really, really easily affect them and it can pile up pretty quickly. And so not only having boundaries with the people in your life to understand where your time limits are and everything, but also to have that time for yourself, to be able to have boundaries with the social media content, with the broadcasting channel content, with that, spending your time wisely. Because it's very easy as a content creator because you have access to this stuff all the time. And this would go for any content creator, not just a spiritual entrepreneur like myself, not just tarot readers. Any of you that are content creating out there, you will know what I'm talking about once you get into it. It can be very, very easy to get into it and then easily get overwhelmed. It's
I
okay.
want to show you. It's exactly the same on that, except you just have to scroll down. So it'll show your.
Okay.
It's going to show number one, number two.
Okay.
So like you said, yeah, you just will hopefully have some.
Oh, okay. Well.
It's just different.
Yep, it is different.
All right.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to still understand the comments and the scoring. But yeah, so as a content creator, no matter what your niche, no matter what your genre, having that that time where you can decompress, where you can step back, where you can flow, because it can be really, really hard, as it has been for me. And I'm somebody who needs boundaries with the actual analytics, because if I am constantly looking at them, constantly talking about them, constantly, refreshing to see where everything's at, that becomes incredibly stressful for me and causes a lot of anxiety. So for me, it is very helpful to study and know the analytics, but maybe really only seriously look at them a couple of times a week, or maybe after the release of a significant video that I've done or something like that, to really have only certain times that I go in. And because honestly, I do feel when I get in that place, it affects my creativity and it causes anxiety, which then overshadows any creativity or even me being able to hear clearly my own intuitive voice within that's informing me on what I could be creating that is for my audience, for my creators, for my people, and how they're going to benefit from it. So from what I understand and just chatting with friends and different people, this isn't uncommon. And, we've kind of been through this period of big astrological energies where we're getting really pulled to expand ourselves, maybe get new jobs, find secondary sources of income. I myself have picked up a part-time, just a 10 to 12 hour week job. It kind of, I somehow manifested it. It somehow kind of fell in my lap, and it's perfect for me. It allows me to, it's something I'm very familiar with. It's something I know how to do. And it allows me to make that little extra money, because here on YouTube, you know, what a lot of creators don't talk about, you see all the videos on how to get monetized in 3 months and blah, blah, blah. And the reality is, for the majority of YouTubers out there, it's the long game. It is the long game. You never know when a video will take off. You never know when it's going to happen. The graphs for the algorithms, once you start studying those, let me know. We'll have a little conversation about it, because I always learned about like a bell curve, you know, and I know what graphs should look like. And there's just some really interesting things that go on in the algorithms. There's so much content being uploaded to YouTube that sometimes they only pull in what they need or what people are searching for. And sometimes, you know, people aren't searching for healing and soul growth and how to evolve as an individual. Mostly what they're searching for is drama and like all the political stuff and all that. So it's, you know, we need more people out there that are looking for the empowerment, that are looking to uplift themselves, that are taking accountability for themselves, that are accepting that they are an able-bodied, productive, capable person in society, and they've just been stuck. They've been stuck in somebody else's framework, and it's finding your own way, your own mission, your own purpose, and then finding out how to survive and make a living doing it, and hopefully thrive. You know, that's the case. But the reality is, and if there's any others of you starting out on YouTube out there, it's a long game. It's a learning curve. It's a long game. Most people don't blow up overnight, okay? Good for them if they do. Congratulations. But there has to do a lot with timing, a lot with what YouTube is pushing at the time. Like right now, these mobile lives are very popular. Before this, it was shorts. Shorts was the way, you know, and there were a lot of creators out there that were just doing long form. There were a lot of tarot readers out there just doing long forms, and they were great, and they had great successful channels. But when they started to prioritize shorts, that was a big change for those creators, right? And so they're constantly changing things, right? That's enough to keep up with. So just some, you know, just some things to think about. Let's see. It says, it's like losing weight. If you get on the scale every day, you're going to go crazy. Yes, Nicole, that's exactly how I feel. I do not get on the scale anymore. And in fact, women my age, perimenopause and menopausal women, don't get on the scale. Don't get on the scale at all. At all. You know, unless it's like a professional doctor's appointment, they want to grab your weight or something like once a year. Okay, fine. But like, don't do that to yourself, because you're not going to like what you see, because your goal is to build muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat, you know, so you have to kind of go by how you feel in your body, not necessarily by the weight you see on the scale, except you do have to know that in order to know how much protein you need. So those of you who aren't there yet, just make a little mental note that will be the case when you reach the ripe old age of 50, half a century, which we celebrated, right, last week. All right, Jason just got 25 XP. I thought we counted last time. Jason, I don't know what you're talking about. What's 25? I'm sorry. Experience points? I'm so confused. I don't know what XP is. Are you talking to me or Nicole? I don't know. Nicole says, I think to seek empowerment, you have to wake up. A lot of people float through life. Status quo. Yeah. That's, you know, honestly, the people that I'm meant to support and help are not the I'm good with status quo people. They're really not. It has to be some spark within them that says, I'm a creator being. and I'm going to take accountability for that. I'm going to take the reins of my life and do something with that. And that's what Creators on the Crest is all about. It's about being a creator. You don't have to be the kind of creator I am. You can be any kind of creator. There's a lot of artists here. There's a lot of poets. There's a lot of people that have that kind of skill. But also there's very technical people who are also creators that are very good on the technology side, the analytical side, also creators, right? You don't have to be like just artsy fartsy. You can be anything and figure out how to use your unique gifts, talents, and abilities to create a life, a career that speaks to your soul, right? Because I'll tell you something, and there's still a lot of people out there that are trapped in this. And I do think it's a trap. No offense to anyone still working in the corporate world, but it's a very set system. And it's a system that they will never let you change it. They will reward you for you doing it their way. If you do it their way and you don't try to rock their boat and make positive changes that they don't want to put money into or something like that, you're going to be fine. In the corporate world, the people who are successful are the ones who are following along. And I'm not insulting anybody by saying that. I did it, okay? I did it for I followed along the rules that they had, and it was killing my soul. It was literally killing my soul. And I have one of my mentors lives down in Ecuador, and she had told me that a lot of times she meets retirees who come down there on their retirement, maybe live down there part of the year or move down there, and some of them have worked high-powered jobs in the corporate arena. And she said there's just something missing. You look in their eyes and it's like exhaustion, it's like death, it's like a void, because they have spent so much of their lives. And what's the number one thing that people say at the end of life when they're on their deathbeds? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. What's one of the number one things besides if they had a good relationship with their mom, they're calling out to mom or dad or someone that was close? Does anybody else know? I think there's actual statistics on this. I'm not going to quote any statistics, but I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard. I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. I wish I would have spent more time with my parents. I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard, right? So there it comes. Yeah, more time, Shireen. I wish I had more time for the people and the things that I love. Hi, Shireen. Good to see you. Shireen, you have a book out. Do you want to drop the title of, or it's coming out, it's launching, right? You want to drop the title in the comments? Shireen has co-written a book. Yeah, I'll have to pull it up over here. I'll find it too. But Shireen is a creator. She's a writer. And like Nicole said earlier, Shireen is a person who is awake and aware, right, of things. Not woke. We're not going into woke, but, awake, aware, a creator being in her authenticity, right? And yes, okay, so it's launching 8/8 on the Lionsgate. Isn't that awesome? Is that because of your Leo energy? Oh, yes, okay. The Mystical Quest of Artemis and Apollo. Ooh, I get tingles. Where will we be able to find that? Is that going to be like on Amazon? The mystical, let me just show you, see if can you guys see the Mystical Quest of Artemis and Apollo? How cool is this? This is what being a creator is all about. This did not come overnight, y'all. Shireen's been working on this. Yes, it's going to be on Amazon, so be sure to check it out. There's a plug. Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Yes, we're talking about Shireen's book that's coming out with Lori Collier Chavez. So she co-wrote the book, The Mystical Quest of Artemis and Apollo. I, for one, am going to get it, and I can't wait to read it. Yes, took 2 years. And it, we're talking about people who have kids, busy lives, right? I know a lot of you do. Whether or not you have kids, you have busy lives. Some of you are taking care of multiple jobs. Some of you are taking care of other family members, right? So we're really talking about today. It's like the reality. At times, we're going to feel burnt out. We're going to feel like, my goodness, like this is a lot. This is a lot to deal with while I'm trying to create, while I'm trying to become a content creator, build a business, do my art, share my art, create an Etsy shop, whatever it might be. But that's kind of what we're talking about today. So I wanted to kind of get into, I'm kind of long-winded, but that's okay because I think these are things that are worth sharing. And I'm glad for all the people that have stopped by. I'm so excited to see you guys drop in today. I want to reframe overwhelm. Okay. So have you ever just said, I'm overwhelmed? I say it all the time. Ask Jason. He's probably like, you're in a constant state of overwhelm, right? You're constantly overwhelmed. And that's because of my sensitivity level as a human. I'm just very sensitive to these things. But I'll say that I had a mentor, Christine Michelle. In fact, here on the channel, on the podcast section of my channel, where I do real life mages, and I got to get some of you, I'm going to get on there too. Some of you out there listening right now are going to come on that podcast if you want. But I did, was it episode maybe 3? With Christine Michelle, and she's the one who originally taught me. She is with I Am the Aligned Soul. And she taught me about reframing overwhelm. And I really liked how she said it. She's like, if we can take those things that we're telling ourselves, I'm overwhelmed, and we can put a different perspective on it, which from a tarot perspective, you go into that hanged man, right? Karen knows about the hanged man, right? You go into the hanged man and you get a new perspective. And the new perspective is, instead of saying I am overwhelmed, can you say, I have a really full life? My life is really full. And can we begin to see that as something positive, right? Certainly, we're not bored. Certainly, we're not twiddling our thumbs, trying to figure out what to do. Most of the time, we're feeling like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. What a full life I lead. How exciting is this? What an adventure I'm on. And so, can we sometimes, and it's not about trying to be false positivity and all that, and bypass your feelings of overwhelm, right? We want to acknowledge that. We always acknowledge our feelings at Creators on the Crest. We're acknowledging it, but maybe I can spend time looking at it from a different perspective. And in that perspective, what I usually find for me personally, when I begin to think, oh, wow, I live a full life, let's take a look at a few things. I think, oh my goodness, like I'm so fortunate to be able to homeschool my children. That's really important to me. And I'm able to do that. That's something I'm grateful for. So then the gratitude starts coming in. Oh, this part-time job that I needed to get a little extra income fell into my lap, and it just was so easy for me to step right in and begin doing that. And it goes right along and complements me working on building my membership that I'm working on. And so then you start to think how these puzzle pieces all fit together actually quite nicely. And once you kind of train yourself in that, the brain begins to think, oh, wow, yeah, look, this stuff is working out. And then the emotional energies begin to shift for you. And so you can kind of shift yourself out of that anxiety. It just takes practice and it takes work, right, on your own behalf. So you have to be willing to do the work for yourself, right? And sometimes it's being really honest with yourself, and it can be tricky, especially if you're tired or out of energy, or you have other people that need things from you. That can be something that you have to learn how to balance. And then, I've talked about all this, like being in the soup of it, but I know some people are at the point where they are just not knowing where to start. Now, Nicole says, I would argue while it seemingly fell in your lap. You still have to open your hands. Yes, you do have to open your hands and take inspired action. Something in me was aligned with that energy and manifested that. Like I really wanted a remote, part-time, temporary even position that I could make a little extra money. I had already in my mind, in my soul, I'd said, I'm thinking like 10 to 12 hours a week. Maybe something that I could do that would also help me with my own business. So some of the tasks and some of the things that I would be creating would be similar for the business that I'm building, Creators on the Crest, and the membership and everything. I wanted to leave time where I can still do that. I don't want a job that's completely going to take that over. I want multiple income streams. These are things that I had put out there. So yes, when I say fell in my lap, it just kind of, you just never know where it's going to come from, I guess. That's my point, is you have to have your arms open. You have to, take inspired action to claim it, because it was kind of one of those phone calls I got. It was like a low key job offer. Do you know anyone who could XYZ? And I was like, well, yes, I do. It's me. I can do that. Right. And so it was manifested, yes, but it also requires action. That's the woo and the do. You need both of them, especially if you're swimming in the energies and the spiritual energies, and so you have the awareness level, but you're also functioning in the physical world and mundane reality, right? Like you're navigating multiple aspects of yourself. You need both the woo and the do. If you have just the woo, you don't really get much accomplished. It might feel kind of good at times and you're like, hey, good vibes or whatever, but then you don't get anything done, right? You have to put the do with the woo together. And those of you, any of you like Christine, when she taught me about the overwhelm, I learned she's an Aries Pisces cusp. So she has that first and 12th house energy. Pisces is the woo. Aries is the do. So look for that, because today we're going to talk about a little bit more about the 4 placements that I read for. When I read for collective readings, I read for Sun, Moon, Rising, and North Node. Unless it's a love reading, I pull in Venus for that. But Sun, Moon, Rising, and North Node, we're going to talk about those 4 today. So if you guys have those placements for yourself, grab those. Or if you don't remember, maybe take a moment to grab your chart and pull those while I kind of wrap up our first little piece, and then I'll do the oracle reading. Is going to kind of close out how we realign with our joy and purpose. I really want to focus the oracle reading on that. So let me do that. Maybe you all pull your Sun, Moon, Rising, and North Node. Make sure you have those placements. If you don't have those, there's a couple of free things. You can just Google, like I think Cafe Astrology, Astro Dentist. It looks like dentist, but it's Dientist. You can pull those. You just plug in if you know your birthday and your actual time you were born. It's best if you know the time you were born. So try to figure that out if you can, because that's best. That's going to give you the most accurate. All right, so we're going to go with the Sacred Geometry of Activations Oracle. I'll link the cards I used today in the description below. But let's go ahead and start out with the Sacred Geometry of Activations Oracle for our Oracle messages. And these are messages to encourage us and help us realign with our joy and our purpose, especially if we felt depressed, anxious, burnt out, run down, those kind of things. Yes, thank you, Nicole, for the reminder. We appreciate thumbs up, everyone, if you're enjoying the content. Sometimes you get into it and you can forget to put the thumbs up. That really helps. Your comments are most welcome as well. Okay, yeah, I can see that scoreboard changing. Cool. All right, so our very first oracle card today from the Sacred Geometry of Activations is number 14. 1 + 4 is 5. So we'll work with that numerology. We got communication, everyone. We got communication, and there's the image. It says here, the frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart. There it is, through the heart space, right? We run it through the mind a lot. We forget to run it through the heart. That's the center of our truth, and that's what's going to help us stay in the flow of source energies and balanced energies that are aligned with our purpose. So running the information that you get day in, day out, there's a lot coming in, there's a lot going out. We typically default to our mind to process all that. What would it be like if we brought that into our heart? So whatever is coming in, bring it into your heart. How does it feel? When you get into this center of truth in your heart, that is where you connect with your intuition, right? That's where you connect with your instincts too. So we're kind of moving. It might sound counterintuitive, but it makes sense. We're moving from the mental down to the heart. The heart is closer to the gut, which informs us as well. Those lower, if you work with the chakra system, the lower chakra energies, where you get the gut feelings. So we want to get in the heart when we're dealing with what's coming in and what's going out, because the mind, even if it is a really good computer and can process really fast, might miss something. And it might say yes to something that we meant to say no to, or no to something that we meant to say yes to. So Nicole mentioned earlier, being open and actually manifesting something. You do that from the heart. That's what my heart desires. My mind would like to think, oh, well, in order for you to do that, it's going to have to look like this, and it should work out in this time. The mind tries to put all those parameters and details around it, but the heart's just like, put down your framework, put down a few details. This is what you want. Yes, now feel into it. Now feel into it and open to it and let it come in on its own. Okay. And so that's what we're working with there. And communication, what a huge part of everything, right? Everything. But learning to communicate from the heart. Let's go to the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck today. I was feeling the animals today too. I always like to pull at least one animal deck. Today I have two. So we've got communication, okay, like King of Swords energy in the tarot, and we have the owl, King and Queen of Swords energy. This is the wisdom. But what is wisdom? Wisdom is information processed through the mind, right? Plus experience, how we literally navigate in the physical world, how we relate. Right? That's what wisdom is here. So we have a lot of air energy coming in. Very interesting. What's going on here? We have a lot of air energy coming in with the owl and with communication. We're dealing with swords in the tarot. But here the owl represents wisdom. And what's really interesting is I did see an owl the other day. A couple of days ago, I was walking Blaze. And I know it was an owl because I'm very aware of large birds. He's a small dog, And so when big birds are like in the street or swooping, it was kind of odd. It was a little bit later in the evening, I think, about dusk. And I saw Big Bird in the street getting something, some little mouse or dead thing. And it flew up on the top of the apex of my neighbor's roof and just sat there and turned its head. You know how they turn their head just like this and looked at us. And I thought, oh no, I hope it doesn't think Blaze is, going to be its next meal. So, but I wasn't able to get a picture because I came in and I had to get my glasses to see it a little better. I went back out, but I didn't have my camera. But then I went to get, I wanted to get a picture, but it flew away. So, but it, owl energy. It's about wisdom. It's about your perspective. It's about being able to see. And so these oracle messages so far very much into communication, vision, how we interact and how we process. A lot of air energies coming in there. And I still have this deck in my hand. There's another card that wants to come out. All right. It doesn't want to leave my hand. So I guess you're all liking the animals today. We want more information here. Okay, now we got a little more earth energy coming in. Whoop, with the trash panda. Oh, lovingly, the raccoon. Aren't they so cute until they like hiss? You know, they're the cutest little things. I really like the image here on the picture because I feel like you cannot see really the entire body of the raccoon. There are parts of it that are hidden. You can see the tail, the characteristic tail, and the face. Yes, this is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. But you can't really see the body here. It's very blended. It's there, but it's very blended into the background that the artist has used here. And it's Kim Kranz is the artist here, Animal Spirit. It's a huge box that it comes in. All right. And I really feel like this is a representation of the parts of ourselves, or the parts of our experience that we just don't always know how it's going to come into the frame, how it's going to come into being, okay? We do not always know how it's going to come into being. We might think we know with our mind up here. We might be playing with the idea with the tail swooshing back and forth, but the bigger picture maybe hasn't come together yet. And so, yeah, a little bit different take on raccoon. Sometimes I get an ornery energy or a curious energy here. You know, my dad had a saying, like, if we were misbehaving as kids, he would call us ringtail tutors, which were raccoons. And so, you know, that's when we were being ornery. I don't get so much that feeling. I get more, it has to do with what we cannot fully perceive in the darkness, right? Where it is that element of coming into the heart and having to trust because the full picture has not formed yet. So it's important to get another card from that deck for some reason. I'm not sure why. Now, this is a new deck I got. My daughter gifted it to me. Thank you, my lovely daughter. Woodland Wardens. So this is the first time that I've used this. This is Jessica Roux, R-O-U-X, Woodland Wardens. So why don't we clear it out here, see what Woodland Warden would like to come up here and inform us. We're going to stick with these animals. What would be the highest and best message from the Woodland Wardens for us as we are learning? A couple cards fell out. We're going to go with it. We're learning to realign with our joy and our purpose. That's what this oracle reading is about. So we have some information about trusting. We have some information about the mind and the heart, communication coming in. But we got the horse and the bluebell. So this comes with like a flower and an animal. And it says modest fortitude. And then we also got the dragonfly and the pansy. Wait till I show you these beautiful cards. Balance. Let's look at the horse and the bluebell. Look at this beautiful card here. Modest fortitude. Modest fortitude. Yeah. So when I think of fortitude, I think of looking forward. I think of maybe, you know, manifesting, maybe getting in touch with the future self. But fortitude also has to do with endurance and tenacity and being able to go the journey with the horse here. The horse is representing a journey. Horses also represent freedom. So it's the fortitude, the modest fortitude to move toward our freedom. But how can we put a little bit of a gentle edge on it so we're not pressuring ourselves and forcing ourselves into something, right? How could we do that? That's where the bluebell comes in. How can we still make sure that we're giving ourselves plenty of grace as we move forward, that when we encounter these challenges and these obstacles, or we feel depression or we feel setbacks, how can we balance that out, right? Because we got balance with this other card here. How can we balance that out with our desire, our fortitude to move toward our freedom, which is what we're creating, constantly creating, because we want a life, right? We talked about this in the very beginning. What people say on their deathbed more often than not is, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time for my loved ones, for the things that I enjoyed. I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard, right? And that's that modest fortitude. We know we're still going to have to do the do. We know we're going to have to work, but by golly, did we come here to just suffer? No, we're going to put in the work. And you know what? What's really interesting is just the work in our current space in the world is so incredibly imbalanced, right? Michael Tellinger has a lot of good study on sustainable like neighborhoods and communities. And if you can start small, like it literally would take the neighborhood coming together. I think he estimated 3 hours a week for a neighborhood or a small community to come together and work. Like, so that would be like, let's say if we were repairing sidewalks or tree trimming or whatever we're doing, right? The whole neighborhood comes together, right? Picks up trash, whatever it is, kids too, everyone included. It would only take 3 hours. We don't work together very well, right? We don't work together very well. The Montessori program has a saying, many hands make light work. Yes, when we all come together and we're all willing to put in a little bit of elbow grease, right? We can have a much more balanced experience. And this goes for our home environments too, making sure everyone's included in, taking care of the home, right? Whether it's indoor, outdoor, even the children can have responsibilities and learn apart. It's very, very common in most indigenous cultures for children to have a responsibility that is age appropriate for them. We've kind of lost that, Even if you're in a space where you can afford a housekeeper, what are your kids' responsibilities? How are we teaching them? How are we giving them something age appropriate? My kids, they tag team unloading the dishwasher. My daughter does the silverware and my son does the other stuff, right? They know how to make their beds. I can't say we're always successful with remembering or keeping those things on point, but that's also part of the experience and part of the learning. And so making sure that everybody's a part of that in the home space as well. So you can start in your home space, which is your little local neighborhood. Yep, teamwork is the dream work. That's right. Awaken Your Minds here. Hi, Derek. How are you? Good to see you. So we got also the dragonfly and the pansy here, and it says balance. And so, this is Libra energy through and through. This would be very similar. This is a gentle depiction maybe of the Justice card in the tarot, right? With the dragonfly here. But the dragonflies also, to me, represent a subconscious energy. So dragonfly, very, very helpful. They eat mosquitoes, which is good. I don't like being bit by mosquitoes. And so when I see them up there, I'm like, yay, get them or whatever. Sorry, mosquitoes. I know they're part of the food chain and whatnot, but yeah, I don't want to get bit. And so I always thank the dragonflies for, their help there. But yeah, it's about balance. And the pansy, always like a two-toned kind of flower, very distinct looking flower. Once you've seen one, you'd be able to recognize it again, right? And balance is going to be super important. And I'm kind of getting, it's a shout out to the balance between the mind and the heart as well, making sure we're including the heart in these things, in our endeavors, making sure we're running the information that's coming in and going out through the heart. That's going to be where we have the most empowered experience. We just get so busy or so focused or so into the mental energies that it can be hard to drop into the heart and have that balance. And that's what we're being encouraged to do. We've got some Cosmic Energy Oracle cards. This is a new deck for me too, so I'm not sure what we'll get here, but we want our highest and best message. We are talking about some tips, some practices for realigning with our joy and our purpose. All right, and so this one is sticking out the side here. So remember I talked about, as I just talked about dropping in the heart space, your mind might have gone to the place of how. We got meditation here, and it says meditation connects you to your inner self. However, do you know how many people I have had say, I just can't sit and meditate. I can't do it. That's okay. Meditation can come in many forms. You just have to find the meditation that works for you. There is such a thing as a walking meditation. Has anybody ever done a walking meditation? I have. It's very mindful. It's very quiet. It's very internal, but you're moving. It does give you a little something to focus on. And some people are the kind of people who just fall asleep when they meditate. And they're like, oh, I fell asleep. That's okay. You needed to fall asleep, right? So letting that be okay. We've got a Libra rising in the house. Yes, make sure you guys, if you don't have handy your moon, sun, rising, and north node placements, make sure you're jotting those down or have those handy, because we're going to get into that in the breakout readings. I know you all have different placements, but we're going to talk about that, and it's going to be super cool. Okay, and so meditation, it can be music. It can be journaling, can be a meditative practice, right? So don't put too much pressure on yourself about how you should meditate, or you've got to do it this specific way. Try some different things and see what works for you. There's labyrinths. You can walk labyrinths. I really like those. They have like little stop points, little circuit points where you can go and you work your way into the center of the labyrinth, and then you come back out of the labyrinth. That's a walking meditation. All righty. So what else do we need to know to realign with joy and purpose? We have the healing waters. Now I have 3 decks from Rebecca Campbell here. I've got the Starseed Oracle, the Rose Oracle, and now I have the Healing Waters Oracle. They all have these really cool boxes, you know, love it. And we're going to get a card from there to close off our Oracle reading. Meditation paths, yes. There's 11 viewers, yay, lucky number 11 right now. If you haven't, 12, we went up. If you haven't put a thumbs up, but you're enjoying the content, please do. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do lives every Friday, and also, I forgot to mention at the beginning, and I'll mention it at the end, but I do have a live Q&A coming up this Sunday, the 13th, from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Awaken Your Mind might be in bed. I don't know, might be asleep during that time, but some of you may be available from 7 to 8 p.m. That's where you can come on and get a mini reading, your own. You ask a question or you give me a theme and you get a personal mini reading. And I go for an hour, first come, first serve. And I just run through those. So if you can, join us on Sunday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Central, and ask a question. Okay, so from the, there we go. I'm going to get a sip of tea. It's a green tea today. It's a green tea pineapple. It's got like little dried bits of pineapple in there to kind of help with the flavor. Oh, it's nice. The rainbow, sweet relief, new beginnings, and a new way forward. Yeah. And that's what so many of us are on. We're releasing the structure and the way that we may have been taught things had to be this way, or you have to do them this way, or this is the hierarchy, this is the order of things. We're releasing that. We're finding a new path forward. There are many paths that can join into that good red road, as our Indigenous Americans call it, right? That is the way forward, the path forward, where we all can come together. Now, it's not all hunky-dory, happy, joy, joy all the time, right? This takes inner work at the individual level, right? And so when you are getting into these energies, you're going to get challenged. And that's just part of the reality of it. It's not just going to come easy. Everyone isn't just going to show up and just instantly be able to work together and communicate. Remember, we had communication. There's growing pains involved here, but we would like to go ahead and manifest a little bit of relief in that And I think the more that we do our own inner work and the more we get good within, the easier we are able to navigate these paths and the new way forward for ourselves. Yeah, hi Karen. You had to get on a call right after you jumped in, but you fast forward. Yes, you guys, if you rejoin the live, yeah, sometimes it will bring you to the current place, but I'll also have timestamps. So thank you for reminding me of that. There will also be timestamps on the replay, making it really convenient if you did miss a section. Derek says, cheers. Yeah, there's many ways to get into that meditative mind state, as I like to call it. Yes. Or the meditative heart state, because that has been a theme today, getting in the heart. Yeah. Pooh, I would say, yeah, there's some good coming. We got sweet relief here. That's an auspicious energy. It's looking lighter. It's feeling good. You know, sometimes you working on a challenge or overcoming an obstacle and you get that relief and then you lead right into another challenge or obstacle. It really depends on your path. So why don't we talk about that a little bit? I want to explain the breakout readings here to you all today. So the way I read for the collective energies, and sometimes personally, if we're looking into the astrology of the individual, it is helpful. I really consider 4 different placements to be important, and they are 4 foundational placements that I think once you understand those, it really gives you the cornerstones for understanding your astrological blueprint. And of course it marries very nicely with tarot, right? Because the tarot is literally an alchemical story of life, right? And so we're working with the characters, we're working with the archetypes, we're working with these placements. Astrology can overwhelm a lot of people. So if you start with these 4, I think it's super helpful. It made so much sense to me when I learned about it. And so I would like to share it with you. Zach is saying being in the physical presence. Yes, it's that mind, body, soul, heart, connection, isn't it? The heart core essence, the heart star. All right. Absolutely. Good to see you again, Zach. Welcome back. I'm glad Karen's here. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So we're going to talk in the breakout readings first about the moon sign. Your moon sign, and I'm going to use the analogy of a tree. Let's call it the tree of life. The moon sign is going to be your roots. It's the stuff that's underground. It's the stuff that's in the shadows, okay? It's the stuff of you that is in those shadows. It's the things that you're learning about yourself. Other people don't even know these things about you because you may not even know them, right? It's those areas that we keep maybe more private. So when we are aware of something within ourselves, we're keeping it private. It's the ability to sort through things on the subconscious level. The moon sign is very important, almost as important, if not equally important, I think, to the sun sign. And most people only know their sun sign. But like I said, if you Google one of those free astrology chart places like Cafe Astrology or Astro Dentist, there's another one, Astro something, I can't remember. You don't got to buy anything, just do their little free thing and get these 4 placements for sure. Your moon is what nourishes you emotionally, right? So if you imagine like the roots of the tree nourishing you, right? Or nourishing the tree, that's where you would pull up the water and the nutrients from. So that being that place that nourishes you emotionally, but also the place of your subconscious and what you keep private, that's where a lot of the deep work is done. So it's very important to know your moon sign. Like, are you Aries moon? Are you Cancer moon? Are you Scorpio? What is your moon sign so that you can work with those energies? All right. And it's going to start to put the puzzle pieces together. So the moon is like the roots of your tree. If you imagine yourself as a tree, right? The roots, where you get all your nourishment. Another good way to meditate is tree meditation and tree pose in yoga. That's another good meditation technique. Then you have the trunk of the tree. And the trunk of the tree represents your sun sign. This is your soul spark. This is how you came here to express as you grow. As you imagine, a tree starts off really thin and then all the rings are gained. And people are able to witness that. People are able to witness you growing physically. They may or may not have access to your emotions or the deeper aspects of you, but they can see, usually, especially if they're an intuitive person, can see your characteristics, right? And who you came here to be, right? Who you came here to be. It all depends on what you're willing to show as well. So, you know, if you're, this is where it gets tricky, because a lot of people will take their sun sign energy and through their fears and what's the word, insecurities, through the fears and insecurities, they bury it in the moon energies, and then those shadows in the subconscious gets very anxious because it's out of balance. We want the sun sign to be visible. We want the trunk of the tree to be something that, you know, people can come up and hug, people can interact with. It's your soul spark. That's what it is. And it's where you stand in your truth. Okay. And let me kind of alter that a little bit. It's actually where you stand in the truth. Okay. So a lot of you on here, and I think Nicole, you said it on your channel. If you haven't seen Nicole's channel, it's Stand Yourself Official here on YouTube. And she talked about this in one of her recent videos. And she talked about, you know, I've been down the path, all the different paths, you know. I was raised Christian, done all the church things. Then I went through being an atheist. Then I came, you know, I've come into balance with understanding a creator, and I consider myself a truth seeker. So not a truther, right? As that term has kind of got attached to people who are a little more cringy and all they do is complain online and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. I'm just saying that term has kind of gone that way. But are you a truth seeker? So when you align with the truth, you align with your unique expression of that truth. Okay, so it's like universal truths, alchemical principles, understanding these things deeply within yourself. When you come into alignment with the truth, it makes it a lot easier to express from your specific, unique gifts, talents, and abilities, that truth. Okay, so that's where I want to go with this, because a lot of people will think truth is subjective, right? And that was a big learning for me, huge learning for me. Okay. All right. So, so we've got the moon, we've got the sun, the soul spark. Where do you stand in the truth? And then we've got the rising sign energies. Okay. The rising sign energies are the leaves, the branches, maybe even the fruit. So imagining yourself like as a big tree and you're blooming in the spring and all these beautiful leaves are filling in, or maybe it's winter time and you've got the bare branches. That's your rising sign. It's kind of what people notice first. So when you're driving along, you know, you kind of see the fullness of the tree, or you see the bareness on the branches, right? It's going to be your place of first impressions with others. So you really want to look at what signs there, because it helps you understand why people respond to you in the way that they do. Okay. And it's how you're growing and expressing. It's your personality. The rising sign is kind of personality traits, especially personality traits related to like public personas or first impressions, right? So they see all that and they interact with you from that first before they get to know you on the deeper level, which would be your moon and your sun energies, right? So we have a Gemini rising. Very good. Yes. Let me see. I missed a message here. The truth is seeing things, Zach says, so the truth is seeing things the way they are. Yes. 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 And then what you do with that when you see the way things aren't very good, right? It can be really easy to get drawn into that. That's where all the drama vortexes are. So if you can find that way to come inside and be, okay, this is the way things are. I'm aware that I'm looking at the effects field, the effects field. How can I come into my cause point within myself? Not necessarily, this is where people go wrong. They want to like fix the collective problem. Like almost like go put a band-aid on that, like, you know, oh, I'm going to go like join a cause or something, or I'm going to throw some money towards an organization where I don't even know what the books are like or where the money's going, right? People think they can fix that way, but the best way, honestly, that I believe, this is my opinion, and everyone's allowed to disagree, but it's my opinion that it's the inside work we do at the individual level where we actually have control, right? Because we don't have, once the effects are out in the field, we don't have control of that. That's the chaos energy. And when we put like a lot of attention on that, it can be easy to get sucked into that, various levels, various ways. It can be depressing, it can cause anxiety, it can do all these things. So if you can find a way through all the noise, right, which is what all of us are working on, and none of us are perfect. I get caught up in things too. I do. I have opinions about things. I get caught up. I get triggered, right? But it's knowing what to do with that trigger or getting caught. It's knowing back into the heart core essence, and begin to work there and say, now, why might I be feeling this way on a personal level? Because remember, we're constantly, if we're the cause point, we want that cause point to be one of clarity and alignment with natural law and cosmic law, alignment with the truth as it stands, right? And we want that to be our place of power, where we then, right, are acting as a cause point that's going to have a ripple effect going out into the ethers. And so that eventually, when enough of us are aware of that and we're working with those energies at cause, at that 0 point, where we're really coming in and being vulnerable there within ourselves, that we begin to then affect the reality field. So this could be we might have to do a whole like real life mages podcast on this or something. It's, you know, it takes a lot, right? Like talk about doctorate level, master's level program being here as a human on earth and having that awareness, right? That's why in the Matrix they say ignorance is bliss, right? Because truly, I mean, it is, but you're also just floating along, not learning much, just, you know, interacting with the effects field instead of recognizing how you can truly influence that effects field. Maybe not right away, right? We have to kind of get away from timelines here because it takes time. What a mess of chaos we have going on, right? What a mess. So where was humanity? Where were people in these cause points? You know, there are energies out there. There are dark energies. There's dark magicians. There's chaos magicians out there who intentionally put this energy out into the field. And then we'll be like, oh my God, that's horrible. And then we get all caught and obsessed, right? How are people with like all of that stuff, right? And instead of like investing the energy and the sacred, what's word? Like sacred, I don't even know what I want to say, but I don't want to say energy again. It's like a sacred dedication to being a cause point. That's where the change is really going to come in, right? So yeah, DNA, thank you for being here. Welcome. Thanks for the like and the sub. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. Yep, the full story, Zach. Awaken Your Mind says, so much noise out there and it's great. There's folks like us clearing the airwaves with proper knowledge and care in our words. Yes, a whole other topic. Your words are like a sword. How do you use them? How do you evoke, right? Clearly. And you can see I'm even experimenting and still getting used to putting this into words. So give yourself a little grace. We're going to have that little bit of grace. You know, we have that little bluebell that we got here around the horse. We're moving forward. We're having the discussions, but it's got to be okay for us to misstep and make mistakes and confuse things, because guess what? None of us were taught any of this when we were young. Okay. We've had to unwind. We've had to unlearn and then relearn everything and reteach ourselves, right? 0 point, yeah. Essential, it's being true to yourself. Yeah, and you got to have it right within, right? How you going to win if you ain't right within? I love that lyric from Lauryn Hill. I will always love that lyric. How are you going to win if you ain't right within? No, right? We're not. Yeah, we got it, Nicole. Thank you. If you're driving, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Appreciate you being here. Intention. Karen mentions intention being important. Yeah, absolutely. You want to have your intentions grounded, right? You want these placements that I'm going to get back to. I kind of went on a little tangent, but we're going to get back to these placements. You want your intention to be aligned with your moon sign, your sun sign, your rising, and your north node. That's how you're going to make the progress. Yes, the next personal reading hour Q&A is Sunday. Nicole put that in the comments. Excalibur, swordsmanship, keeping in the mind the S words like swords in the tarot. Yes, I love that. Hi, Mark, Alex, how are you? Welcome to the Frequency Friday Live. Okay, so we've got moon sign, we've got sun sign, we've got rising. So we're back to our tree. We've got our roots, our trunk, and our tree. Now we're going to talk about the north node. So this is one that, like, a lot of people talk about, they know their sun, moon, rising. They either only know their sun sign or they know their sun, moon, rising. They forget about north node, but north node is that very top of the tree, the crown that is reaching for the sun. It is our growth, particularly as we age and as we enter into our second halves of life. We move maybe more away from the lessons of the south node and into the experience of the north node. The north node is what you're reaching toward. This has to do with your goals. It has to do with your vision. It has to do with your mission. And it really is, if you imagine it, reaching toward the sun, right? The crown, the very top of the tree. And you know how trees will kind of like, you know, trees can teach us a lot, because if you put them all together, they compete to reach toward, you know, so we've got competition energy, natural competition energy, and everything factors into it. And we could go down all these like rabbit holes with it. But the moon, sun, rising, and north node, that's what I'm going to be doing readings on today. So if you know those placements for yourself, drop them in the comments. If you don't know those placements for yourself, maybe Google them and see if you can get those really quick. Usually have to know the time you were born, like I mentioned, but we're going to start off with a little tarot reading for moon sign. Now, if I do see astrological signs in these readings, I will call them out. So some of them might match your sun, moon, rising, north node, and you may not want to share it here. If you don't want to share it, that's okay. I mean, I've pretty much shared my whole chart. They know what my chart is, but I also very much trust the energy of the circle of the magician, which is the protection that I use. And so and you do want to protect yourself. You do want to do that. But I wouldn't ask anybody, if you do not want to share, that's okay too. If you want to remain more private with it. I have a Scorpio, Saggy Scorpio North Node cusp, and the Scorpio North Node understands the privacy aspect of it. So we've got a Pisces North Node for Shireen. Ooh, really getting into those waters. Lovely. Yeah, so if you do want to share any of your placements, you can, but if you don't, that's okay too. I'm not forcing anybody to comment. I love your all's comments though. Some of you have really added to the discussion, and I love that. I love the wisdom. Remember, we got that owl. The owls have shown up here. We have the wisdom. And this is a new deck. This is the colorful neon tarot deck. So it's got like really bright colors. So we're kind of doing like an 80s. It reminds me of the 80s. Fluorescent color theme. My son got me this for my birthday. Thank you to my wonderful son. He's a Leo. He's a Leo son. All right. Yes, welcome. Okay, let's start with the moons here. Let's start with the moon sign. Let me get a timestamp here. That's one of the things I have to always remember. So our roots, what nourishes you emotionally? We've got an Aquarius moon. I am a Taurus moon. What else we got? Anybody else have a sign they want to drop? Okay, that's okay. So I want to know what nourishes us emotionally. Maybe also what do we need to be aware of subconsciously? Okay, so what's going on in the subconscious energies? What's below the surface that maybe even we don't see? What might be hiding underground in the shadows? How might, think about the tree roots and the mycorrhizae, the little fungal dominated elements of the soil interacting. It's a whole ecosystem. It's a whole communication, and we have that within us. So grab that moon sign. Be thinking about your moon sign here. We got, do I have 2 Aquarius moons here? Oh my goodness. Woo! Do I have any Cancer moons here? Because that's coming up with the Chariot. Let's see what energies we are going to embark on here. And we may use our little radiant Rider Waite tarot. This is a fun little travel size guy. I love this one, the radiant Rider Waite. I got the little travel size version of it. But yes, okay, so Cancer moon does come up here. Emotional energies, the Chariot. But if you don't have a Cancer moon, that's okay. I'm just calling it out for anyone who might have that. That's kind of standing out. It is also, at the time that I'm doing this, Cancer season. So I really feel like the Cancerian energy has something to inform us about. So as you're looking at your particular placement, you may want to see how that relates to Cancer season on the wheel of astrology. You could look for the opposite, like Capricorn. You could look how close your moon sign is to that. Maybe just play with it a little bit. Trust your own intuition where it's taking you. The Chariot is about forward momentum. It's about having some momentum toward the things that we can control. It's that inner work that we've been talking about. And what I'm getting in this card for all of us, regardless of our moon sign, is where we want to go is already within us. How we want to move is already within us. We are just learning how to come into balance. We have the 2 sphinxes here to figure that out, okay? And so there can be times, and I've talked about this, and I think in the recent Cancer season reading I did, where the Chariot pauses. It pauses, it takes a break, it stops, and the sphinxes rest here, and the charioteer, even though this is a Chariot card, not the charioteer, but you can look at yourself as the charioteer. Remember, we're working with archetypes here. That's how we learn and grow. If I see myself in that chariot and I have a higher vantage point and I pause and I'm looking at the surroundings to find the best path forward, right? And so that's what the Chariot is informing us of here with the moon sign. It's in there. We can even imagine that this is sunset and it's getting dark, and the charioteer has to decide, oh my gosh, I'm going into the darkness. I'm going into the subconscious energies. I want to make sure I'm as balanced as possible so that I can retrieve the information I need. Something for those of you watching, regardless of what your specific moon sign is, but you can attribute it to your sign, you're nurturing something. All right. So Cancer is a nurturing energy, but there are other nurturing energies. Taurus can be a very nurturing energy, a very grounding energy. All right. We'll get to the Aquarius. For those of you Aquarian moons, it's coming in here as well. But since you guys mentioned it, Karen's got the Scorpio moon. Yep, the Scorpio moon. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Sun, Scorpio. Oh, wait, hang on. Moon Leo. I read that backwards. So your sun is Scorpio, rising Scorpio, moon in Leo energy. Oh, on the cusp of Virgo. Interesting. Yes, notice those cusp energies. And North Node says Sag. You might be a cusp also, Sagittarius. Yep. Okay, now you have Lauryn Hill stuck in your head. Yep. You're going to win. You're going to all have to go listen to that song. All right, so we've got the Seven of Pentacles here. And the Chariot, I will also just notate, is a 7. We have 2 7s here. So consider that as well. What are you nurturing, or what do you think you're nurturing? Does your moon need more water, more hydration? Does your subconscious need a clearing of some time? Is there some type? Is there a clarity that you are looking for? You will see the character here. I'm very drawn to the characters in these cards for the moon reading here. Very drawn to them. Normally, I will be drawn to other symbols, but in this particular case, I'm very drawn to the characters. And so I'm going to read it that way because I really think it's picturing yourself as the archetype. What are you looking to nurture? And are you spending a little bit of time with that? Because in order to grow this lovely bush with all the pinnacles on it, this person had to first plant the seed. Wait for the sun cycles to complete. Water, provide water and nourishment here, right? And so what you're nurturing needs your attention. That's what I've got. Okay, and here, let me reframe that too. Energy flows where your attention goes. So do you have your attention and your intention on what you're growing, on what you want to build? The pinnacles are about building and creating in the physical world, the material world. It can be about finances. So for some of you, your moon sign is informing you about how to save or invest. So depending on the moon sign energy you have, you could be being informed. This could just be something that kind of comes up, bubbles up from the subconscious, or seemingly, right, comes out of nowhere. We know there's more to it than that, and nothing's going to really come out of nowhere, but you might be manifesting for something, and you're very connected to it on that deep level. Remember, the moon is the roots. You're connected to it deep underground. So as this character is looking at what is growing here, this character also has the understanding of what it took to get here and the roots. And I think sometimes we have such an eye on the prize that we get taken out of being present on the journey. And I'm getting, for some of you, when it comes to your moon sign, if you can pepper in a little bit of celebration, small celebrations, like small accomplishments, if you consider each of these little pinnacles like a mini accomplishment. Okay, we've gone from a seed to a sprout. Yay, let's celebrate, right? We have gone from a sproutling to having our first maybe bud for fruit or a vegetable or something, right? Our first flower appears. Oh, let's celebrate it, right? A lot of times we're so focused on, we want this to be this big, beautiful tree or productive bush, but we forget about what's going on underneath the surface. And that's where your moon sign can come in very helpful. All right, and we've got, let me just see. Mercury, oh, yep, we got a lot of chart stuff going on. Thank you, Karen. Hi, Connecticut State Land. The earth is our mother. Yes, Mama Gaia, Gaia Sophia. So for our moon sign, we also have the 9 of Swords here. Now, for you Aquarian moons, this might be something that is important to have a look at. This card typically means a little bit of mental stress or pressure. It could also result in maybe physical manifestations of headaches or tension. Like I'm getting like eye tension, maybe from looking at a computer too long or something like that, right? Looking at a device too long. The Nine of Swords, there is an inner wisdom here that I do want to account for, because the 9 is the number of the Hermit as well. So I'm also picking up a bit of Virgo energy here, if any of you have a Virgo moon. It's the tendency to get a little bit caught up in the mind, in the mental area. And I would say if you have an air moon, that could be the case. And it might just be at times, I'm really getting oxygen, that like oxygen is important, like really oxygenating yourself, your body, your mind in a mindful way, like really putting some efforts towards that, right? With the air. So if you can use the air energy, water has, it's H2O, it has oxygen molecules. And I feel like for you Aquarian moons, you air sign moons, even Virgo moons, that's important for you all. It's to oxygenate, okay? And I know they even have those little cafes. They're like oxygen cafes where they have like a higher concentration, and it really brings clarity to the mind. And so the moon position is informing us of that. So you will want to work with that in the way of whatever sign you have in that position. But there's definitely nurturing going on, or some desire to put some attention on what you're nurturing. There's some stress and maybe making sense of things on the subconscious level, which is important here. And then being in balance with that Chariot there. I want to clarify this. I think I'm going to pull a clarifier for each one, actually. I'm going to clarify them all. Pull one for the Chariot, for the 7 of Pentacles, and for the 9 of Swords. For the Chariot, we got the 8 of Wands. Yeah, and I think with our moon sign energies, there's an opportunity here. The 8 of Wands is a very fast moving energy. It comes in very quick. It can be the things that arise from the subconscious that kind of take us by surprise, or they are on such a repeat loop that we don't even realize we're doing it. Okay, so the 8 of Wands can represent a subconscious energy that's running and you might not be aware of it. With the Wands energy, though, that brings in a bit of fire, a bit of transformation. So is there some way that you can identify in your life you're running on autopilot, or there's certain situations that you feel like you just kind of go into autopilot? I'm almost getting the sensation of like listening to somebody lecture and they're droning on, and you go somewhere else because it's like meh, 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 right? This is that kind of energy. But it's also something that is maybe quick to take us away from being present. Okay. There are situations that it is super challenging to stay present. I try to use inflection in my voice. I try to use expression. I've always been an expressive person like this, hands, right? And diction to really like be with the words, but it takes practice. It's not easy. It doesn't come easy to everybody. So some of you might feel like at times you can't find the words, or you're running some other subconscious program that has you believing that you can't find this balance, or that you get lost in the sauce, so to speak. So that may be what the moon is informing you. And of course, if you can somehow relate that back to the characteristics of your moon sign in particular, right? So whatever your moon sign is, like, does it have to do with groundedness for Taurus? Does it have to do with innovation for like Capricorn or Aries, right? You want to kind of work with that energy that way and see if you can identify that. Something is definitely running. It feels like it's on autopilot. It feels like it's quick and it just happens automatically. You may or may not want to pattern interrupt that, right? We're in charge of our subconscious energies as well, right? If we're embodied, we're going to have the best control over that. So maybe figure out what that is that's needed there according to your moon sign, right? So when I do these reads, a lot of times they're like puzzle pieces. I even had someone who comes to me for personal readings. She explains this. She said, it took me a couple of sessions with you, but I realized I was gaining pieces to the puzzle of me and what I was dealing with as I did the readings. And she said, I would take the puzzle piece and I didn't have anywhere to fit it, but at the next reading, I would get the next piece and then they clicked together and then the picture started to form. So energy kind of works that way. It may not always make sense at the time that you're hearing it. You may only have a part of the puzzle. All right. And these are collectives. So I'm in like every y'all's energies. I'm in everybody's energies right now. So you have to keep that in mind and you have to trust. That's where you have to trust your heart, core essence, and your intuition to say, that's the part I need. That's the piece I need there. Boom. Or, you'll be going along and then like a couple weeks from now, you'll be like, something I said will pop in your head and then it fits into place, right? So you're running a lot right now. I can feel like the complexity of the mental energies. Very interesting, very interesting. You all are you have a lot of high intelligence, I'm feeling on this. And that's not only mental, it can be heart intelligence as well. So for the Seven of Pentacles, remember I talked about celebrations, the little celebrations. The Tower comes in. Oh gosh. This makes me feel like some of the subconscious insecurities that some of you might be facing have to do with your growing. You get on the right track, things are going well, you're starting to get momentum, and then boom, someone or something comes in and starts interrupting that. Okay? Hi, Pratik. Thank you, Mark, Alex. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah, the Tower is about boom, like I'm just sitting here trying to nurture and grow and acknowledge my celebrations and keep going. I'm being tenacious. I'm moving right along, and then boom. And there's some wounding here. This is, and it's in that subconscious, unconscious. There could be some childhood wounding, where maybe you created something, you were really proud of it, and you went to show your parent and they kind of blew it off, or they made a comment. I can remember a time where, I was really excited. I was doing some like holiday decorations or something, and I put like, I had red and green, and I do like the colors, like the Yule colors, right? And I was gold and red and green, and I was doing all that. And I was, like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 11. And I did all this, and I went to go get my mom because I was so excited. I was like making shapes out of construction paper, and I brought her downstairs, and she looked at my door, and I had Merry Xmas because I didn't have the paper to do the whole Christmas. And she's like, that's sacrilegious. And I was like, I just spent like 2-3 hours like working really hard to decorate my room for the holidays. And you're going to point out one little thing. Yes, I grew up in a Christian Methodist household, right? So you're going to point that, like, that's what I got for feedback. Not like, oh, how cool, how creative, la, 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 I love it, and how fun, and you did such a good job. No, I got, that's sacrilegious. Whew. And I was like, crushed, you know, little me was like crushed. And I feel like some of you have, that's not your particular story. You have your own stories around when you were growing, when you were nurturing, when you were building something, or it could just be like you worked so hard on something and you were hoping for first place and you got second. And you thought like, that's terrible. I only got second place, but you did get second place. You have a hard time relating the celebrations that are happening for you. And that's, you know, use your moon sign once again. Is that something you need to dig into, like a Taurus energy? Is that something you need to put love to, like Pisces? Do you just need to hug it and love it and integrate it, right? What is there an age you were at that was particularly hard, where you know you needed this nurturing and you didn't get it? Something happened. Every time something started going well, it's like then the other shoe drops, and a lot of people carry that pattern of subconscious response, not knowing. Okay. Okay, so 9 of Swords and 6 of Pentacles are here, y'all. 9 of Swords and 6 of Pentacles. This kind of feels good to me. Those of you who have the moon signs that are air, connected to the air element, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, and I'm going to count in Virgo here too, because I'm getting Virgo energy. Some of you may be Libra, Virgo cusp, moons. This is kind of a relief. I feel like things are balancing out. This might be a little bit of those Libra energies kicking in, maybe coming in, and the work you're doing on the subconscious level, the work you're doing, here we go, with your ego, checking your ego. I'm a big proponent that the ego is a part of us naturally, and we should not try to remove it or, you know, do anything weird like that, delete it. All right. It's a part of us. It informs us, but I kind of treat the ego like a consultant, right? It's like, okay, ego, you've let me know that, and I will take that into consideration, but I'm not necessarily going to act on, you know, my ego alone. I'm going to let my greater being inform me. I'm going to let the other multidimensional aspects of me inform me. So some of you are in a really good position right now if you have those moons in an air sign, where you can really bring balance to your ego and to your communications, to your spoken word. Shireen, I think you like mentioned she's an Aquarius moon, perfect time for her book to come out, right? Because she's working with those words. But we have this balanced 6 of Pentacles energies, and it's about being in service. It's about giving, and it's giving, you know, of the best of yourself. And that's where we're coming to with these moon sign energies. Our ego is our amigo. When we master those shadow aspects, that's the key, right? Because we don't want to be psychopaths and walk around in narcissistic ways all the, you know. Yes, those tendencies exist. Yes, that's a part of all of us, and on different scales, right? But it can be our amigo, and we can really work to master it. And I like master it. I like that better than like, because it's like you work in league with it, you know, and so it informs you, but it doesn't get to be in the driver's seat. It's your greater being in the driver's seat. It's your heart star, your heart core essence that gets to drive. But the ego can inform, and a lot of times it's trying to protect, right? A lot of times it's trying to protect us. Very interesting on the moon sign energies. What did you all think of that? Was there any specific part that resonated more than another for you? And, you know, anything you want to share about moon energies, subconscious energies, drop a comment. I love to hear about that from y'all, right? Okay. All right. Whew. I needed to shuffle those for some reason. We're going to move on to sun sign energies now. This is our soul spark energies. Okay, this is going to be the sign that most people know. I'm a Cancer sun myself. Who would like to share their sun sign? You don't have to, but if you'd like to, share your sun sign in the comments. This is the trunk of the tree. This is how you're meant to grow and expand and evolve, right? In your true gifts, talents, and abilities, your unique ways. Excuse me. Oh, little sip there. This is such a cute mug. I got little Grogu on here. Little baby Yoda, they call him. All right. Sun signs. Sun signs. Happy birthday to any Cancerians out here. Oh, thank you, Derek. I'm glad that resonated with the moon. I was getting really like hot too, but my air conditioner just came on. Zach says, pretty bang on earlier. I received feedback in my last lecture to provide examples of failures rather than giving solutions and outcomes. Yeah, Zach, that's great. I really feel that. That's something I'm challenging myself to do, and why in the beginning of this live, I talked a little bit more, I revealed a little bit more, because I tend to be a more private person, but I revealed a little bit more about feeling depressed, having those days where I can't get out of bed and I do feel like a failure, and, going through these cycles is, a natural part of understanding and exploring ourselves. So, I mean, that's very interesting. That's very good work there. I think sometimes, there's like a fear to like even mention our mistakes and failures. But when we do, we like free a part of ourselves. It's like such a relief to tell somebody that you trust and that you're close to that you made a mistake, or to really actually be in that mode of, I made a mistake and I'm making amends and I am genuinely, authentically apologizing or whatever, right? But also, when we take a look at the failures, we start to see how maybe what we thought was failures was really a success. Sometimes that script will flip because we're like, wow, yeah, I failed. I fell really hard, but look how much more I rose after I fell. And I think we forget that sometimes because we just get so locked into that failure energy. And there's such a weight, even with the word fail and failure and and especially if you had any voices coming at you growing up or anything that just told you were a failure. Literally, I've worked with so many people who were told they were a failure or would never amount to anything. I mean, who tells somebody that? Somebody that is already in the failure energy and is a bit, cruel and narcissistic. So, but as a young person, you take on these things and you begin to believe them. So can we look at it a little different? You said, never apologize. It was just another chapter. Yeah, I wouldn't say empty apologize, but an authentic. Like, I'm thinking more about someone making amends. Like, let's say this is one of the things. Now, we can agree to disagree too. That's okay. One of the things I do like about the traditional Alcoholics Anonymous program is they do encourage people to make amends. They do encourage it because it's a part of the ownership. Now, it's not just like, oh, I'm so sorry, and I'm, and then the next day they go and do the same thing. That's not an apology, and that's not something that you should do. Nor should, and some of us, this was in my family as well, apologize for everything. Don't apologize for things that you don't have, you don't have any responsibility for, right? I'm sorry. Like, yeah, my mom says that a lot, when it's like, you have nothing to be sorry for. Why are you sorry? Are you really sorry? Or are you just saying that out of like some sort of nervous tension? But I was thinking more of like, authentic, genuine making amends when somebody actually comes to you. I had this happen to me. I had an ex come to me who treated me poorly years later, right after we go our separate ways. And he extended a genuine apology with words saying, it was not fair to you the way I treated you, and I am truly very sorry, and that's it. It wasn't like making excuses. People apologize and they make a bunch of excuses, but But I was in a dark place. I was abused. Like they kind of like take back the apology. It kind of rewinds after they give it. Gosh, we could do a whole segment just on apologies and the whole dynamic there. It's so interesting. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. And it is difficult to reflect on hurdles. Connecticut State Land says, trust in God's plan. It's all mapped out for you. Do not believe in false prophets or promised hope. Live your life to the fullest. May your heart and head speak the same voice. Yeah, I mean, you say different words than I do. I don't know what exactly you're talking about, Connecticut State Land, or if you're trying to call me a false prophet. I hope not. Why would you be here? If you don't want to listen, you don't have to be here. But I'm gonna just say that yes, I do think there's divine plan. This is me personally. This is where I'm at with the energies. I do think there's divine plan. But I also think, because people ask me, well, is free will really a part of things? I do think it is. I think both can be true. Okay? I think both can be true. I know it's a biblical reference. I do know it's a biblical reference. And that's fine. I don't want to immediately shut that down. But I do know people that do the spiritual work like I do are often accused of being witches and false prophets and things like that. So you guys are seeing a real trigger, a real kind of hook that I have here, because I've been called all sorts of things, At the end of the day, though, a lot of people mistake me for an atheist. I am not an atheist. I absolutely believe I don't call it God personally, because I think my personal take on things is that there's a whole matrix energy set up around God, okay? And that a great majority of that, even though there's many beautiful things in there, I think there's so many beautiful things in religion, and in some churches are absolutely just so giving with their philanthropy and everything. And I grew up in a church, and my favorite part was when we went to do service work or volunteer work. I think there's some amazing things that take place there. My concern with the matrix energy around that, and I don't have a problem if you use the word God. I use creator source or natural prime creator personally. That's my personal choice there, okay? But I have no problem. I know what you mean when you say that, but my hesitation to use it personally for myself is because there is also a lot of what I consider to be externalization into that energy of God, meaning that sometimes people won't do the real work because they circumvent their own empowerment and their own embodiment by saying God did it. And the creator source that I understand wants me to be in alignment with my divinity. It is not a creator that is fear-based or against me. It does want me to step into those energies within myself, not just think that, right, I have to wait for God to do it, or the return of Jesus to do it, or something like that, right? And I think sometimes those externalizations keep people a bit stagnant from doing the work. I'm not saying everybody, okay? Because within religion and spirituality, there are so many different facets and so many different ways to express that. I'm just saying what works for me perfectly. So, awaken the mind. Thank you, Pratik. I mean, there's so many different cultures in the world. There's so many different foundations and roots, and sorting through it all can be really challenging, especially the religious, spiritual aspects of things. But I think the more we engage in conversation and talk through it, the better, because what I said Connecticut State Land might feel completely fine working with those words. It's just like for me, and I think everybody has their own path, and I'm not here to take away anybody's path. I have spent many lifetimes steeped in religious dogma. Derek says religious dogma around the tarot and such seem to turn blind eyes to the actual practical results of insights and overall real life benefits from the arts and sciences. Yeah. So sometimes in our society, when things are portrayed in a way to be like evil or wrong or don't go there, like cannabis, let's just say, that's a perfect example of something that's attacked and made, it's a lot of people are brainwashed to believe it's an evil thing, it's the devil's lettuce, right? Things like that. Just to use an example where there actually are medical and healing properties of that plant. It's a plant in nature. It has medicinal properties when used appropriately, right? And everybody has a different constitution. It's not a one size fits all world. It's not going to work for everyone, but it does work for some people, and it's not evil, and it was made out to be like a stairway drug or whatever, and things like that. So we have to be willing to use critical thinking and really dive into some of these things and understand that some of the things that are being villainized actually might lead to our evolution or our understanding of ourselves as greater beings. So that's the point I was making. And yes, I have triggers around it because I've been there and done that. I've been steeped in religion. My dad was a minister. I was raised that way. And also, I had no choice. I had no choice until I turned 18. And then I could go explore on my own. And I did. I went to all these different churches. I did the Buddhist thing. I did everything. I went up and down all around and came back to myself and realizing that there are essences within all religions that are beautiful threads of knowledge and wisdom that I can incorporate in my life, yes, but I don't need to externalize it. I need to be it from the inside out. I need to feel it. I need to be able to experience it. This is for me personally. That's what I want, the richer, deeper connection with that energy, right? And I don't feel like I got that from the matrix energy of churches because there's these beautiful elements that are overshadowed by the dogma, the piousness, the persecutions, the many bad things that have happened as a result of that. And I'm not saying I have all the answers because I don't. I'm an explorer. I'm an explorer of these energies, and I'm a learner, a constant, perpetual student. And so that was a huge freaking tangent. Yes, but yes, I honestly know of past lifetimes of working in hypnosis, working with myself, with others, where I was absolutely a priest, a priestess in these religious roles. And I think at some point, because of the way that these beautiful essence and threads have been taken and inverted and turned upside down and inside out to disempower people, to bring the power of the people into some external realm where you have to reach and go get it instead of finding it within yourself. That's the part that bothers me, and that's not for me. And that's the part that I've come to in my own evolution to realize it's within me. It's within me, and it's going to take some hard work to decode and unwind all of that. There's histories, ancient histories in my blood codes, in my soul codes. And I think we forget, and this isn't from an egoic perspective, we forget our own greatness. But greatness also has to remain embodied. We have to be embodied in the greatness. We can't just have the ego running wild. Oh, I'm a God being and blah, 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 right? Whatever. So I'm not ever going to claim to be God or like some sort of, narcissistic perspective, like I'm the chosen one or something. I'm one of many chosen ones, actually. We are all chosen ones, but we have to find that within. It's a choice to go within. So this is where I roll with it. And maybe this is my Cancerian soul spark coming out and talking about this. I wanted to be more real. I'm wanting to shift my material to be more and more real with you all. So that includes me being vulnerable. And I'm even feeling a certain way right now, right? I'm even feeling like a little bit emotional here. And I appreciate the support of you all and that you're here and commenting and encouraging me, because I do appreciate that. And like I said, like, you guys have some of your own viewpoints, which are amazing. And I welcome those, because sometimes I need to be stretched into different edges, and to kind of explore something different. Everybody has different paths. Everybody's on different parts of the path. It's not right or wrong or a comparison. It's just, that's what it is. And I think it's just very interesting to learn about where everybody's at with that. I actually find humans to be extremely interesting. At the end of the day, yes, humanity annoys me sometimes. I have an Aquarius rising. I both love humanity and I'm turned off by it at the same time, but we live in this universe of contrasting expressions. And I think the willingness to explore and to really be mindful of being as embodied as we can as we take the exploration is so important. All right. So yeah. And Jason brings up a point. Who knows what the human race could have accomplished without these original ancient mind control techniques, and the fact that we sometimes only think back to 2,000 years, but there's ancient history way beyond 2,000 years. Calendars, there's many talks about the calendars, and not even, there's the Gregorian calendar, there's the Mayan calendar, where we are at in time. Sometimes people have a hard time getting beyond that. And the earth, there's evidence of multiple cataclysms here on earth, where there's evidence of society having actually evolved to a certain point and then destroyed itself. I mean, it's fascinating, right? Like, my goodness. So much to learn. Merci, Derek. Thank you. Education is important. Educating yourself and re-education, like not traditional education. Yes, learn to read, write, and do the arithmetic, right? You learn the basics, but then explore with your critical thinking mind and your open heart. All right, let's get into the sun sign. My goodness, what a TED talk that was. I'm actually gonna have to put a new timestamp on it there, because we went on, but maybe it has something to do with all this. Okay. So what's your sun sign, the trunk of your tree, the way that you shine, your soul spark? We got that 8 of Wands. Here comes the 8 of Wands a couple times here. Again, I'm going to say now that I see this again, fire energy, frequency energy, fast moving energy. We're definitely being informed on the level of our moon and our sun. And I like that it comes up in both, because I can actually feel the connection there. And I can actually feel that this is most likely representing a connection between the subconscious and conscious mind. And I like that. And the transformation that's happening there with the wands being the fire energy. So yes, here we are. We're in the soup. Things are happening really fast. Lots of information coming in, lots of information going out. We're constantly in these energies, right? Of a very active world, of a very dense world. We're kind of swimming in the soup. And if we can get into that place within ourselves where we begin to get over that wedge that is in between the conscious and subconscious, and we can begin to let the roots nourish that trunk and draw up, like trees, draw up that wisdom from the subconscious realms, then things really get moving for us, right? We can really, really manifest some amazing things and transform through some incredibly challenging energies, which is, I feel, what we're all doing and while we're all showing up for this conversation here today. Also, another connection here I'm seeing from the moon sign. Remember, we got the 9 of Swords. We got the 10 of Swords here for the sun sign. To me, this feels good. I think it's an indicator that some of us are working with some very large heavy subconscious energies that maybe we've been carrying around for a while that we're due for some transformation, like me sharing today. I'm going to share more personally. I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to you, my creators, my group of friends. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to be okay stepping away from the cards a moment to philosophize with you. I love that. I love those kind of conversations. The gate, this is a gate closing card. This is an ending. This is a minor arcana card to the death card, which is the ultimate card of transformation. And I like seeing this in the sun sign because, again, I feel like we have a progression from the 9 to the 10. And we're saying, okay, maybe there are some subconscious programs running in me that I can then let go, or I can transmute them. I can say they have served me thus far, and now I'm going to take the reins from here. I'm going to take the reins of that chariot. And there is this beautiful, here's our major arcana card for your sun signs here. The judgment card, I wouldn't necessarily say is connected to any particular sign. It's kind of one of those other major arcana cards that doesn't connect directly back to a zodiac sign, at least for me. This is a clarion call from your greater being to you. Now, if you connect with your greater being through God, source, essence, or whatever you call it for you, this is being called to your greater purpose. This is whatever has been swimming in the subconscious areas and realms for you that would hold you back from your calling is being put down. We're dropping the gate on that. We're transforming the energies so that we can step into our call. And it's vulnerable. Look at the people. No clothes. Vulnerable. It can take a lot of courage to answer the call, right? And your call is unique from my call, is unique from Derek's call, from Nicole's call, Jason's call, whoever. But what is your higher calling? And it's connecting with that. Remember, the soul spark is going to be how you actually what's the word? Birth it maybe into the world, like the portal through which you're going to spark. The energy is going to spark. It's going to create the fire of your passion, of your purpose, and what you're here to do. Do any of you, I'm interested to hear from you guys, because sometimes I have trouble putting it into words, what I'm here to do, right? Because just to say I'm here to read tarot, tarot is just a part of my greater purpose. Have any of you ever worked on this and really written out what you believe your mission and purpose is, and who your audience is, who your people that you can best serve or assist or commune with are? Have you tried to write that out before? Because once you sit down, you're like, oh man, I'm like, there's this, there's that, there's this. What is the underlying theme for your purpose? I'd like to know that, because once you understand that, that's where you're standing in the truth, because that's the alignment with the universe, with the truth, with the cosmic laws, and that's how you can express it. So Jesus is God, he's coming soon. Oh, Alpha World, you joined a little too late. We just had the religion conversation. We had a little conversation on that. You can always watch the replay if you'd like. Zach says depends on your demographic. Tell me more, Zach. Are you talking to me or Alpha? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, if you're interested, Alpha World, before you joined, I did do my take on religion and spirituality and things like that. And you can have a listen and you can agree or disagree, and it's fine. It's not a one-size-fits-all world here. Woo. All right, so for the Eight of Swords, Lamis, hello, how are you? we got the Fool. So I'm doing a little clarifier here. So this, did I say Eight of Swords? I meant to say Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands, we got the Fool card. I really love this because once we come together with the conscious and subconscious mind and we kind of bridge that gap there and we really become aware of the subconscious patterns that are running so that we can transmute them, we step into this brand new energy. It brings us back to that 0 point, which is also what I like to refer to. This is my card for the cause point. This is the card of your soul when it first came into this world. And then we run many, many cycles through the major arcana with this card throughout our lifetime. So a lot of you with your sun sign, your soul spark, you're stepping in and it's brand new. Shireen is putting her book out there. We talked about that earlier. Some of you may have projects you're launching. I'm working on launching a membership. I don't know where this is going to land, right? I don't know how this is going to all shake out yet, but I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to trust and I'm going to turn my heart to the sun. All right. It all comes back. Yes, Derek, it all comes back to the 0 point. Absolutely. 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 And looking at the 10 of Swords here, we got the 6 of Swords here. Okay, we got the 6 of Swords. Whew. This is the little bit of relief. I know somebody asked earlier, am I going to get any relief? This is a little bit of a reprieve. This is a little bit of a relief. In the energies, when something ends, we're not necessarily always ready to jump up and take the new leap. This is happening in a process, in the part of a journey. And the 6 of Swords represents a little bit of a travel to calmer waters, right? It's bringing us into calmer waters after, you know, maybe we suffered a shipwreck and getting washed up on shore. And now we're brave enough. We're getting brave. We're going out again, right? We're getting our wits about us with these swords here. We're getting our words about us. We're coming back out and we're slowly, right? No one ever said you had to dive in. You can take some baby steps. You can pause here and build a little set of wings and kind of help you flow on the way down. Take it at your pace. Take it at your pace and let's move with a little more flow, a little more ease. This is the ease and grace coming in with the 6 of Swords, right? And maybe some of you might, while you work on something, maybe someone else is going to be your gondolier, right? Maybe someone else can steer the boat a little bit. Maybe you kind of step back from taking the wheel of some sort of responsibility so that you have time to move into these calmer waters of the new beginning that you have. So I'm gonna let you guys work it out in the comments. I think you understand. The Judgment card here. Okay, this is that call. The call comes from your greater being. This is in my understanding of it, your greater being in connection with cosmic wisdom, creator source, the natural prime creator of the universe. Look what we got again. That 9 of Swords. Oh, ouch. Sometimes, right, we hear the call, we get amped up, we're ready to go, we're going to put ourselves out there, we're going to do the thing, and there's a little bit of a headache to deal with again. It's funny that this is actually coming up when the comments are flowing the way they are right now. I mean, I appreciate all different people and diversity and having a conversation, but conversations are not one way. Okay, they're two ways. And conversations, I'm even going to call them not I'm going to call them co-versations, because we're going to cooperate to conversate together, right? Because I kind of feel like is opposite. It's kind of tricky there. We're having discussions, we're engaging in being open to one another's thoughts. We're not making statements that it's as is and it must be this way, right? We're open to the fact that this is not a one size fits all universe or world. We live in a universe of contrasting expression, and we're all doing our best to work through it. But if you're not open to the conversation. If you're only going to state what you're going to state, look where it gets you. If you're just stating something just to state it, if you're not actually opening up into the conversation, that's going to lead nothing but headaches. And for some of you, I feel like, so that's, little something, little reference to the chat here. Okay. But also, it has to do with your greater calling there. Are you open to that conversation with yourself, to your highest wisdom purpose, right? Are you opening up to that within yourself, right? It's going to be the more active part that I'm feeling for us with our sun sign, where we actually do have to show up and do something. Okay. We actually have to show up and do something. All right. And what is it that you're going to do? What is it? Are you just going to look at things from one perspective? Are you going to let an old fear run the show? Are you going to run yourself into the ground and be stressed out? Or are you truly going to let this go? And then maybe we dance back into, let's take a little bit of calmer waters here. Maybe for some of you, looking into the more feminine flow energies, right? There's phases we all go through, regardless of being masculine or feminine. There's different phases, and maybe some of us need to invite in a little bit more flow or a little bit of pause so we can hear that, right? All right. Alrighty, all right. So we are moving on now to the rising signs. So if you'd like to share your rising sign placement, this would also be called your ascendant. If you have an ascendant that you would like to share in the comments, please do. All right. Yep. All right. Yeah, if you go on and you're not open to the conversation, and honestly, I'm wondering what you're doing here if you're not able to productively communicate. So we will eventually time you out. I think we got lots of chances to try to open up the conversation, the conversation there. All right. All right. Scorpio again for you, Karen, on the rising. I'm Aquarius. Libra rising for you, Derek. Okay. Jason's got that Gemini rising. Calling you out. All right. Okay. Wow. It's really interesting. So far in every reading, we've got 2 minor arcana cards and 1 major arcana card. I don't know if my rising sign influenced this, but we've got the star for Aquarius here. We've got the water bearer. Oh, wow. This is like where, gosh, air, I kind of feel like the air and water meet. The oxygen in the water is coming up again here for our rising sign. How are we growing and expressing? Number 1, let's just talk about the basics. Are you hydrated enough? Who needs like a drink of tea or water or something to hydrate you? Are you getting deep enough breaths? Is your breath work very shallow? Are you finding yourself stressed out with shallow breath work, right? That would be reminder here with the star, like in order for us to really be connected to our goals, to what we're creating, to the effects that we're going to have through the connection with our cause point here. Where are we with those energies? Are we nourished enough, right? Are we nourished enough? Aquarius is a very humanitarian energy, but at the same time, you are human. So it's also remembering that the Scorpio rising here, sometimes Scorpio gets a bad rap for being selfish. But it's honestly really because Scorpio energy understands the depths of the self. And since they understand the depths of themselves, they are more comfortable focusing on the self at times, right? And so I'm getting both we got the humanitarian aspect, but we also have to fill our own cups. We have to be able to give from the overflow. And the water bearer here, Aquarius, which I always thought was weird, was an air sign. I'm like, aqua. It's a water, it's a water sign, right? It's definitely the water, the most water of the air signs, right? And it's about those nourishing energies, understanding yourself as a piece in the greater human saga that we get to dance in and experience. This is also about goals. So some of you may or may not have communicated your goals to others or to the people that you need to. You may be getting more and more comfortable doing that. I do feel like you have a little bit of apprehension about that, or a little bit of confusion. Maybe there's even, for some of you, I feel there may be people close to you that you're afraid to really express your goals to and what it's going to take to get there, because maybe it influences the family dynamic, the finances, or things like that. But I would just say, when I look at this card and you look at the character again, this person is covering up the heart, blocking the heart. And we really want the heart to be open. The heart can be open to that purpose first, and then to finding the words to communicate it. Maybe it's just with one person first that you communicate. So if you're like a little apprehensive about sharing your goals, like let's say it's with your partner, because you know you need to do this training, and you know it's gonna affect the time, and the time's gonna be taken away from here, or it's gonna cost money. You might be a little afraid at first. Do you have a close friend that you can rely on, that you can speak to, that you can begin to drop the sword down? I do feel like there is a need for communication. Communication also came up in the overall oracle reading today. Communication from the heart space, and you can't do that if you're blocked. I do get a good sense that for many of you, this is going to happen. It's going to be successful. Maybe you just need a little practice. Maybe you just need to get out on the field, have a little field day, and do a little practice. Maybe you are going to open up to someone and kind of tell them what you're thinking. You know, I would definitely encourage you to do that with a person who has your best interest in mind, who has been a supporter of yours, right? Where you feel safe, especially if then you want to open up to another about it, and maybe you just need to bounce some ideas. This can be a bit of like a little confusion energy. So I might come at it this angle, I might come at it that angle. Can I just talk through it with you, and can you listen, right? And so this is really interesting coming up in the rising energies, because the rising energies are usually about the people who don't know you as well. They just know the surface. Like people who have just joined this live today, they're only knowing me in a certain way. I have inner circle in my life that's closer to me. Sometimes though, a third party who isn't as emotionally and intimately connected with you can offer a unique perspective. Again, make sure it's someone safe for you, make sure it's someone you trust, but you might just get a helpful message from someone who's not as close to you because they don't have the same level of investment. And so I think some of you are opening up into that. Maybe some of you are considering working with a mentor, and really going deeper with a mentor. That's that Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy really craves the depth. All right. And Karen, I'm thinking about you with the Scorpio rising, how you're growing and expressing. It's always going to be important to you. You have multiple Scorpio placements to express depth in your art. For example, your beautiful, the woodcraft that you do with the different pieces of driftwood, your driftwood creations, right? And so in order for you to do that, you need to be connected at a deep level to it. The actual element is speaking to you. You're not just, it's not just using your mind to throw it together. You're having an interaction, right? Scorpio likes that depth, that energy. So that's coming up as well. And it's okay, to be in that. Of course we need balance and everything, but I think sometimes that Scorpio energy will get a bad rap as being selfish, but it's because they crave and really desire the depth. And so it takes more time and untangling to get in there and really pull on that energy, right? Because they want to know it all. They like to know it all. So your rising sign, I think Derek was Libra rising, right? It's finding the balance point. When do I speak? When do I observe, right? It could be that kind of energy that you're dealing with in your rising energies with your placements. For the star, we got the 5 of Cups, a little bit of emotional energy coming up here with it. I'm not surprised. In both cases, the character is standing next to a body of water. And it's very interesting to me that the water element was really sticking out here. So any of you that have a watery rising sign, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, know that this particular rising sign may be more connected to your emotions, elementally speaking. So if you're a water rising sign, you may have a deeper connection. You may have a deeper sensitivity to the way that others perceive you. Okay. So there may be a little bit of the fears of what if they don't like me, and you're feeling that on a deep emotional level. There may be a little bit of clearing that needs to happen for some of you on that, like clearing out a little bit of the way you feel about something or a wounding from the past. And that's okay. I don't feel like it's a major, like you're totally set back and stuck. It doesn't feel like that. It just feels like a little acknowledging of like, yeah, I do maybe invest a little bit of my emotions into what other people think about me. And it is scary to vulnerably put myself out there toward my goals. So how can I really listen to that little bit of emotional input that wants my attention? And how can I transmute that and clear that? Yeah, the balancing act applies to everyone, no matter their Libra placement. It's just that you feel it more in your inclinations. Yes, so if there's certain energies attached to the sign that you have in this placement, those are going to be what you feel more, or that have more of an effect on your life, or it's more important for you. So if you have those Libra placements, you want to look at those and what part of the tree are they? That's where you need to stay in balance. So like if I'm thinking about a Libra rising, I'm thinking about it's important to have a balance of when you speak and when you observe and learn. Then you speak and then you observe and learn, right? There's a balance there. There's a balance in what you reveal and what you don't, right? And you're always looking for that balance point, right? Now that can apply to everyone, absolutely, but people who have those Libra placements, it will be more and more important for them. And it depends where it is, where it lies. So you guys we're going over the 4 main cornerstone placements, moon, sun, rising, and north node today. And we're on rising if you've just joined. Okay, so the 6 of Wands, we got the Wheel of Fortune. Again, this feels good to me. It feels like a breath of fresh air. We have some of the fixed sign energy showing up in the Wheel of Fortune here. And what I'm getting here, honestly, just intuitively, is for every time you feel like you're losing steam or going down or failing, you always rise again, and you rise again higher and with more wisdom. So the question we asked for this reading was, how are you growing and expressing? You are expressing through more and more wisdom gained because of mistakes and failures and trying something and it doesn't work. But then you try something different, you tweak it different, and then you rise up again, right? And it's part of the cycle of life. It's part of it. Again, I'm also getting, I had this earlier in one of the readings. Was it the very first one, the moon sign? About making sure that you allow and afford yourself some of the smaller celebrations. These are going to be the things that you really feel connected to the little mini things. Like, first of all, if you go out there and you've never put a video out before, you've never shown up on camera and put a video out, once you put that video out, I don't care how many views it gets, likes, whatever. Once you do that, that is a celebration. That is something to celebrate. I did it. I did it. And I'm going to disconnect myself from the outcome and be in a moment of celebration because I overcame that personal obstacle for myself, right? Now, you can attribute that to whatever your biggest challenge is, whatever you struggle with the most, right? It could be staying focused, right? It could be actually launching something, doing something. It could be showing up. It could be having an important conversation with someone. So whatever that is for you, that's showing up in the rising energies. But interactions are definitely up in this. And I'm not surprised because rising is how most of the world experiences you. For the Two of Swords, we got the Four of Wands. I really like this energy, honestly, coming in to the Two of Swords. Like the Six of Wands, this feels like we're coming into a place of more stability. Both of the characters in this card are holding up like those like laurel wreaths or bouquets of flowers and like a celebratory, like, look what we've built, look what we've done, look what I've built, look how I've opened my heart, right? I was closed off before. Look how I have opened up. Look what I've created. Look how I can actually find stability in the place that I feared the most. I can actually create stability out of it. So isn't it amazing how we can go deep into our own challenges and then create and explore stability to come out of that? Isn't it amazing that you could actually reach people and make a living doing what you love, right? And actually assist the world in your own unique way, assist others who have the open mind and the open heart, the open ears to hear, the eyes to see, and the ears to hear, right? The open heart to be vulnerable and to actually be in that place, to not be, right? The, what do they call that? Oh gosh, it's slipping my mind. Oh, I'm thinking of all these other words and it's not, like, it's a term, and to not be somebody who just says the same thing over and over, like a mouthpiece, a mouth breather, like they say in Stranger Things, it's a mouth breather, like the mouthpiece, right? We're going more away from that, right? That's not really going to get you to that evolutionary state. Plus, you have to remember that different people have different portals of receptivity. So not everybody's going to hear the same message the same way, right? Karen says, I need to celebrate more officially. Not just being grateful, but taking myself to an oxygen bar. Yes, absolutely. Zach, are you celebrating being a potato? Is potato like your, I don't know. You talk about potatoes. You have to explain to me. I'm the person who jokes like kind of go whoop over my head a lot of times. Like Jason will show me memes and I'm like, what does that mean? Somebody please explain it to me. Somebody please explain it. All right, let's get into this North Node energy. We're going a little longer today, but thank you guys for hanging out. I know some of you have caught the second half and you're just in time if you've just joined. Potato is being chilled and relaxed. You know, yeah. Potato, being a couch potato gets a bad rap, but sometimes you just need to be into couch, you know, and just relaxing, right? Sometimes we just need to be with ourselves. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that message. Saying the same thing over and over is also the same. That's a lot of sames. Saying the same. Well, I mean, you got your, you know, don't get me wrong, you got your foundational things, but but if I'm talking to someone and let's say I'm trying to explain the laws of alchemy, okay, to someone and they might be new to it. And I just keep saying the same thing, like as within, so without, as within, so without, as within, so without. And I'm not, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm not hearing it, but you know, and I'm seeing that their portal of receptivity is not even open. You have to shift the way that I talk to help give them, oh my gosh, just threw a bunch of cards, an analogy or something, a different way of explaining it. Are we silly? Yeah, we're all silly. I'm silly too. I love being silly. It's fun. We have to have a little more fun spice in life. Okay, we're going into the North Node. What are you reaching towards? So consider your goals. Consider your North Node placement. Share it if you'd like. Mine's a Saggy Scorpio cusp. Ooh, we got 2 major arcana cards this time coming out. We have some overlapping energies, of course. I feel like we do every time I do these breakout readings. There's always energies that overlap, but what are you reaching toward? Any of you that have a Leo North Node? Jason has a Leo North Node. The Strength card has come up here. This is one of the cards that is connected to the sign of Leo, and this is about courage. This is about being bold. Yes, Karen, I think that is pretty close. Isn't it like up to 29 and then 0, I think. But if anyone else knows the astrology degrees, I'd have to maybe look at your chart a little more specifically, but if you can pull a visual wheel of your chart, you'll be able to see that really clearly. But yeah, for all of us, I think courage is up in North Node energy. So look at your placement there. How can you have the strength to move deeper into the energies of your North Node? Now, it gets really interesting when some of you have the same signs overlapping, like your North Node might be the same as your Sun sign or something like that. That can be good. It might give you a little bit of an advantage because you're aligning that soul spark with what you're going for. So it's kind of more natural. Other people have like a completely different, like they're like, what is this North Node? I don't know how to work with this energy, right? But here we're being asked to have courage to explore these energies because it is actually what we're meant to grow into and grow in wisdom with. So yeah. Oh, Karen, you're on the Sag Capricorn cusp and I'm on the Scorpio Sag cusp. So our North Nodes are like on either side of the Scorpio there. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I like that. So you've got, like, if you think about the Sagittarius North Node, I don't see the Temperance card here. I don't see the Devil card here with Capricorn yet, but that would be you putting in the work. Like Capricorn is a very hard worker, right? And learning how to put the hard work though into what you aspire for. Your Sagittarius energy is what you're aiming for. It's that highest goal, that vision. It's where you're going. So keep that in mind as you're working with those cusp energies. You have to kind of combine both. And some of you do have a cusp. And so you want to look at that, or you're really close there. So you might feel the influence of both signs. Now we have the Nine of Wands here coming up in the North Node for, gosh, this whole year. I feel like every time I get this card, I hear ancestry, ancestral healing comes up every single time. This card has other meanings, but I get, again, when it comes to our North Node energies, we're reaching toward ancestral clearing and healing. Some of us are steeped in that right now. We're deep in that. We're releasing the energies of the disconnects that have happened in our families. Some of us are at the stages in life, not all of us, but some of us are becoming. Like my mom is still living, but all my grandparents are gone. I'm becoming the elder, slowly but surely, right? If you've lost parents, the responsibilities now have fallen on your shoulders to take up the elder position in your tribe. And what does that require? Man, like if you haven't already been doing the ancestral clearing, right, it's going to come upon you when you change phases, right? And as you age and as you grow. So like this to me speaks to whatever signs you have in your North Node, apply ancestral clearing to the sign's energy, or look at the sign's energy as to how it can assist you in clearing the ancestral traumas and things. This is a very cautious energy, hesitant energy, right? But it's wand, so fire doesn't really want to be paused and contained. And I think at times the ancestral stuff, it runs so deep, it can be a little overwhelming to work on clearing that out sometimes. But again, here we come in again. And other than the Wheel of Fortune being connected to the fixed signs, so we've got Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo here coming up in the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is for everyone. To me, this does feel like an auspicious movement into clearing some of the ancestral energies that are coming up here. So what you're reaching toward is honestly the reset of your ancestral lines, okay? And I think it's on Instagram, I shared a story, and it was like this beautiful depiction of like how ancestral clearing works, because it's hard and sometimes it takes generations, right? And so sometimes we judge ourselves if we're not able to like clear it out entirely. I almost want to cry, but it was like this cartoon depiction of this flower that is like burning to death in the sun, and over across the pavement is a beautiful large tree that's shading some nourishing soil, and the flower is in this dry spot. And I almost want to cry. Like, this made me cry when I see it. And the flower realizes it needs to be over in the watered, nourished soil under the tree, and it starts to like move, but the concrete is so hard and the pavement is hard, but it finds its courage and it keeps moving, it keeps healing, it keeps releasing, and until finally it's reaching, and it's like just an inch away from that soil, and I'm gonna cry. Sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry. It's okay to cry. Right before it dies, it shoots out its little, its little, like a dandelion, shoots out its seeds, and the seeds are the children, and the children land in the nourished soil. So if you're a mom or dad, you know what I'm talking about. And that makes the journey worth it, even if you feel like you can't clear it entirely for yourself. Imagine the burdens you've released for your children. And your pain was not in vain. Oh, that one got me. I hope I saved that, because it was like a really good, I don't know who created it. I'm going to have to go find it. It's a really good depiction of that. So at the, I tend to be hard on myself. Like, I'm like, oh, there's this mother issue, father issue. A lot of us have other, all the war in the past, all of that kind of stuff in our families, how it affected our families, what the mistakes that our ancestors made, like. And then when you're aware and you start to come into alignment, you start to see where all the dysfunction is. And even if you don't have kids yourself, you might have nieces or nephews. I promise you, energetically, and also let's not forget about the past line that you're healing everything for. So even if those seeds that you send out are not your physical children, it could be someone else that you help and influence, right? It could be someone that you hold healing space for. And they got to that soil, that nourishing soil, because of you, because you were there first to do the work and create the energetic space so that others could also choose to do that work. Oh, that one gets me. Woo! All right. I might still keep crying, but and all I can say is like that kind of made me keep going when I saw that, because it was like, man, yeah, sometimes we feel burned out. Like that's the whole theme of this Frequency Friday, is feeling really burned out and feeling like you're exhausted, but you keep laying those bricks anyway. You know, you keep striving like that flower to reach across the hot concrete, and no matter how many burns you get, you're going to keep moving toward that nourished soil. Whew. Okay, for our strength card in our North Node reading here, we got the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. Ugh. Ancestral clearing for sure. This is abandonment, betrayal, whether it be ancestry or in this lifetime. As you're thinking about your North Node energies and what you're reaching toward, I think it's important to hold in your heart all that you've overcome. These are, the Five of Pentacles represents really feeling like you're at rock bottom, feeling at your wit's end, feeling like you're at the end of your rope. Okay, so however you might describe this for yourself, it's that kind of energy of feeling like broken down. And it's in those moments where we have to really strive within ourselves to connect with our strength, to connect with the Leo energy, to connect with the lion heart, where we have that big open heart. And can we open our hearts to ourselves and then, you know, in turn to others? But can we open our hearts to ourselves and recognize and really embody that even though we've been hurt, even though we've been betrayed by society, by government, by other people, by our parents, by our ancestry, by whatever, can we love ourselves through these bottom places, right? You don't reach for the North Node without understanding the lessons of the South Node, right? And this is something you can look into as well if you are going deeper into your own astrology. Look at your South Node placement and look for how that sign goes through its challenges or lessons, and that will inform you on these energies here too. So that's something really, really powerful there. The Five of Pentacles, it's always like one of those cards where I'm like, darn it. But at the same time, experiencing the beautiful expressive energies and our highest moments in time wouldn't be meaningful or even understandable without understanding the low points as well, without understanding the bottom, right? And so, whew, this reading got me all emotional, y'all. Like I'm all up in it. And we've got the Four of Cups here with the Nine of Wands. You know, the universe in the Four of Cups, or you know, the creator energy is coming through and saying, hey creator, take this cup. You got it. Move with this cup. And, you know, sometimes there are moments in life where we're so wounded or we're so cautious, we feel defensive, we feel resistant to wanting to accept the cup, because accepting the cup means we have to feel. And, you know, learning about your North Node energies and what you're reaching toward. Some of you, I feel like you want to be sure, like that cup better be golden and it better be full, you know, or I don't want to get burnt again. So we're acknowledging the lessons of our South Node and the wounding that we've had. And we're taking a moment to contemplate this, literally in this Four of Cups, of like, I don't know if I want to take that cup, because I actually do know what's involved here, right? But if we can find our courage, if we can find our strength, if we can open up into a big lion heart to ourselves, maybe we will find the courage to reach out and trust the universe, where the universe is meeting us. And, you know, yeah, we might stumble with the cup. We might spill some water. We might get drained. We might get exhausted. But there's also more cups down here. We tend to forget about the other wells within ourselves. We can see ourselves as a wellspring. And is our well dried out? Is there water that needs to be placed somewhere? Where can we nourish? Where can we pour into ourselves so that then we can have the overflow and pour into others. Now that, and for all of you, it's a little different. Your North Node may inform you of that. You could have that be in a big way with the Leo energy, and you're on stage and you're a public speaker, right? Jason's got this Leo North Node. He loves to speak. He's got the projector in the human design, right? Getting out there really, it like feeds his soul, and it helps other people. It helps inspire other people. Some of you are big stage people, Leo energy. Others of you, no, more private, Scorpio energies. Oh gosh, I'm going to be going deep. This is going to be vulnerable. You just saw my moment, with my Scorpio cusp energies there. It's like I'm going deep. Oh gosh, I'm emotional. Oh, you can't help it, right? And so you got to find out, according to your North Node placement, what that might be. Okay. Ugh, now I'm all like need to blow my nose and stuff. Okay, we're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. And then for the Wheel of Fortune, and gosh, didn't we get this for the last one? The Six of Pentacles, was it for Sun sign or Rising? But I feel like, okay, the energies are going to balance out. And I think when I'm most emotional, now let me know if you all feel this way. When I'm most emotional, I kind of feel so overwhelmed. Like I feel like the energies are never going to balance out again. Like, oh my gosh, it's the end of it. Like there's nothing for it. Here I am. I'm in these energies and I'll never feel stable again, And sometimes it feels that way, but then we get reminded of a card like the Six of Pentacles. Number one, yes, it will balance out. And number two, why are you doing this? Come back to the reason why. Why are you sharing your art, right? It's for you, but it's also for others. Who are your creators? Who are you serving, right? Who are you? I don't even know if I love the word service because it has so many, but who are you inspiring? Who are you holding space for, right? Put the words that feel the most comfortable, because service kind of has, kind of gets that kind of twinge to it sometimes, because you want to always remember to keep your own cup full as well. And that's the challenge with everything coming in and out all the time. Let's see, we've got some comments here. Self-care first, Zach. Yeah, you got to fill that cup first. It's something I say all the time, but honestly, like it's something that people struggle with the most. Derek says, totally feel you. If I'm not a parent, it's apparent that anyone has the opportunity to break. Absolutely. Whether you are a parent or not, you absolutely have the potential to break these negative generational cycles. And even if you don't have your own kids, the wheel is on my mind. It will heal the entire line backwards and forwards. And so whatever part you do, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. And you have that opportunity to address it. And it's not easy. Nicole says, something we have talked about a lot is how even when we want to quit, we keep pushing. There's something in us that cannot give up. The tenacity. And then AM said 29th degree anoretic degree, 17 FE lesson or critic point. Really interesting, AM. Thank you for sharing. And Zach says, true, Nicole, but perseverance comes at the cost of comfort or certainty. Zach, do you have Taurus energy in your chart? Nicole and I both have Taurus energy. I have the moon, she has the sun. And believe me, Nicole and I want to be comfortable. If anybody else tries to move us, Nicole did a great video. Oh, and to mention this, Derek, she's in YouTube at Stand Yourself Official. I think you have to type it all in, like Stand capital S and then Yourself capital Y Official. But she can feel free to put that in the comments, Nicole, if you want to do your put in your channel handle there for people. But yeah, you were talking about like, it's like you can't tell this bee nothing, don't tell me what to do, like, but we will figure it out. Like we will figure it out. So yeah, I think it's a little different. Comfort and certainty and people's need to feel safe it's different for different people. I know there are ways I need to feel safe and comfortable. Well, and I mean, sometimes I don't always get that to be that way, but I feel that I desire that the most because it will be the place that then once I feel safe and comfortable, I can launch, right? But at the same time, if there's an uncomfortable corner that I need to push into, or if I need to push the energies a little bit, tenacity can go a long way. I think it's the balance of, the woo and the do, the comfort of, um, and safety. And where does comfort and safety overlap? And that's a whole discussion that we could talk about, because for some people it feels dangerous to put themselves out there to them. And that's the wounding. That's the wounding. And yes, we want to get to the point eventually where you can push that edge, but you might need to have some healing first, or get more certain within yourself. So I can see the scale there, the dynamic. Keep on making your earrings move with your energy. I know, I love dangly earrings. They're the best. Karen says, I definitely do not feel that way. When I am emotional, I am certain it is temporary and I just get impatient. Oh, great, Karen. Well, Karen, that's because your blueprint is designed that way. And so you're just like, ow. See? And we can be different. We can be different and have beautiful discussions about this. So Karen's pause comes when I just want it to pass. Like, that's what gets me. Not that I'm upset that I, feel that way. When's it ever going to end? You're just more on the impatient side. I get it. Zach's a Gemini. You're a Gemini, huh? Stand yourself official. Yep. Yeah, good luck with moving the Tauruses. We don't move till we're ready, but then we'll move very powerfully when we are ready. Can't tell a beach nothing. So Vivek, you're coming in a good time for me to remind everybody that Sunday evening on the 13th from 7 to 8 p.m. Central, I will be live on my channel to do personal mini readings. So you come on, one question each person. It's a power-packed hour. I just go through as many questions as I can and I do little mini readings for people. But today is collective only. All right. And Karen, yes, pulls cards. Oh, thank you, Karen. Karen already reminded you. Already let you know. Yeah. So today, Vivek, if you didn't catch the whole Frequency Friday, I will have the replay with timestamps. And you can go and look at the different parts, and you can still comment on the replay. It won't be in the live chat, but it will still show up in comments. And I am at the point I do read all the comments right now. I still have time to do that. And so if you'd like to comment there, yes, I plugged yourself. I plugged you. Oh, you were able to put the link in? Good. Okay, so Nicole put the link in. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's good. Nicole has a lot of great things she's sharing and saying. And, she is someone who has a lot of courage to just put herself out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be edited. It's, believe me, it's unedited. And that's what means the most. It's most authentic. Yeah, this one went deep. Whew. Hi, DNA, you're back. All right, I'm going to pull a final card to kind of close us off today. Make sure that if you haven't already, maybe hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed your time here today. And if you can join the live Q&A on Sunday evening, it is for subscribers only, so you do have to be subscribed. It's kind of a little bonus for people who are engaged. It's how I kind of pay back. I work with the rune and the law of Gebo, G-E-B-O, and that's like an equal and honest exchange between people. I would love to do a mini reading for you, but I would also love to have you subscribe. Check out my description below. In the description, if you would like to go into like an in-depth personal reading, I have a link for that, as well as links to my social media, as well as links to like an Amazon wish list. If you ever want to gift me a deck that I could use on the channel, put a little gift note in there and I'll say your name and do a little reading. And yeah, and I know you're waiting for the membership community. Oh my gosh, this is one of my things, Karen. The framework is there. I just need a few more pieces to be in place, and I'm getting ready to go on vacation, but I really wanted to have it launched before vacation, but that's realistically not going to happen because I had to pick up a little part-time temporary job as well. And so, yeah, there's that. But I am getting to it, and you're on my list. You're on my list to reach out to. So I will let you know as soon as I have that together. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so cool. All right, we got as a closing message, and yeah, we might do runes. I don't know if I'll pull in runes. Maybe, yeah. I've been thinking about doing rune readings a little bit more. So now you're the second time that's come up. So now I'm going to watch for that. We got grace, y'all. Grace is the universe's blessing. Open your heart to receive it. So especially if you've been like tough on yourself at all, or maybe tough on someone else, maybe just embodying a little bit of grace and, oh, my membership's not ready. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little grace. It'll be ready. I'm working toward it. It's happening. My days are full. What a full, busy life I have, right? I am not overwhelmed. I just have a full, busy life. And look at all the grace. These are your moments of time out. It's your moments where you let things be. It's the moments where you are what you are, and you are a creature and a creator of the universe. And it is beautiful that you get to have this lovely experience and not, always be pressured or pressuring yourself, right? Giving yourself a little grace to move through these very dense energies in this world that we live in. I really hope to see you all Sunday night. If you can join 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time, the live Q&A, that would be the 13th. And then there will be another one in July on the 27th. Next week's Frequency Friday, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. I might be on the road. I might be pulling cards in the car because we're going on a vacation. So I will try to keep posted. I do want to remind everybody on everyone's YouTube channel, there is a post section, and now it's like they're branching out into communities, so you can have a little more conversation in that area. It's to me it felt a little bit like meta-ish, but yeah, so you'll see like my posts that I do for like reminders on readings and things like that. I think I even created like a welcome post recently since they opened up this community a little bit more, but you can go in and see and interact there as well, so check that out. Zach says, such a fun and insightful reading. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Take care of yourself too. Thank you, Zach. You as well. I'm going to embrace some potato today, I think. And Karen, I hope to see you on Sunday. And thank you for sharing. Everybody shared so real today, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you all so much. I definitely am so impressed with the wisdom that I experience with people. And yeah, we have to work through some trolls, and we have to work through some of those things. But I really, really like what I'm hearing and the conversation, as I'm going to try to say now, that went on today, the discussion. So appreciate you all so much. Wish you the best, and I will see you next time, everybody. Have a great